Hello. All right. So hopefully I am going to finish Kai's story today. I have not taken this long to finish one storyline before. And hopefully I can get through this one. Maybe I don't like him. Maybe that's the problem and I just didn't realize it. He's kind of boring, so maybe that's why. Or maybe I just suck today. Who knows? Let me turn this on. Hang on. It's a bit dark in here right now for some reason, which it wasn't earlier. It's just weird. Other direction, please. Alright. Load this data. Yes, please. Oh goodness, do I know what happened last? I can't remember. Whew. I see. So you're here for my input. When we explained everything to Shirashi, he leaned in curiously, as if an interesting game had caught his attention. Should I dig deeper into the past? There's no end of information, and we're running out of time. Among the people tied to scandals we've found, are there any that you think could be targeted? Why? Sanjo quit 5 years ago. I doubt he's interested in events before then. Based on what you've told me, it's not like he's his irritation, I don't know what I just did, I added a letter, with the police has mellowed out any since he left. I did just eat, so we had like the coffees from eating. So shouldn't you be looking for scandals that happened after he quit rather than before? I see. That makes sense. My TV also turned off, so that's weird. Wake up. I will close you and open you up again because you're loading. Shirashi. Boop, 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 boop. Do you think any of these people would be targets? Wouldn't it be boring if I just told you? No, plus boring isn't really the issue here. I can only work with the indirect information that you've given me. Tell me your thoughts after you met with Sanjo. Without that, I can't help. Even though you need that information, it's still all tangled up in my head. Then let's sort out those thoughts one at a time. Okazaki helpfully chimed in. I nodded. Alright, then let's begin with the changing nature of the crimes that have happened in December. What have the December's incidents so far had in common? They weren't well planned, and they were carried out in a way to dispose of Adonis's pawns, right? You answered quickly, so you used your brain. I'm surprised. Please don't make so much fun of me. That's right, Shirashi. She can perform when it counts. Okazaki, that's not very encouraging. Sorry. Anyways, you can't tease her without my permission, Shirashi. Doesn't that mean he can tease me if he does have your permission? It's fine. I won't give it. Okay. You two get along well. I realized that Shirashi had a surprised look on his face. Yeah, we get along really well. He's causing misunderstandings again.
岡崎くんのザレ事だと思ってたけど、何が起こるかわからないものだね。
I figured you for the silly type, Okazaki. Who knows what might happen?
まあいいや、話を戻そうか。
Look at this back shot. Wow. Anyways, let's return to the
12
topic.
月に起こってる事件の共通点ね。君が言ったもの以外にもう一つあるよ。
A common thread between the December incidents, there's another one besides those you mentioned. There is. Yeah.
これはヒントをあげようか。
I'll give you a hint.
今日にでも正式発表されるだろうけど、菅原理香が焼死事件の犯人として立件された。
Today, they're going to announce that Rika Shigawara will be formally charged for the arson.
菅原は7月のストーカー殺人事件の関係者であり、12月に起きた焼死事件の実行犯でもある。
Shigawara was tied to the stalker murder in July, and she committed the December arson.
共通点ってそのことか。
Ah, so that's the common thread.
あれ、もう分かってた。じゃあ、君もとっくに気づいてる感じ？
Figured it out already. Did you realize it too? Hear me out. It's been a couple weeks since I played this last. Do I remember Shigawara is involved in other crimes? They're linked to the countdown crimes. Like, what if Shigawara was involved in all of the crimes, not just December? And why would that be the case? Shigawara looked deeply exasperated. Alright. I didn't say all, by the way. I said others. So I feel like that, it's one of those things. I wouldn't have said that. There's a connection to the monthly X-Day crimes from April to November. What's with that reaction?
白石さん、ちゃんと俺の言ったことを守ってくれてるんだ。
Wow, Shirashi, you actually listened to me.
俺の許可がないと君をいじめちゃダメだよって言ったでしょ?
I said he couldn't mock you without my permission, didn't I? You said you couldn't make fun of me. Mocking and making fun of are two different things.
いじめたかったんじゃないかな。でも我慢したんだよ。
Just now he totally wanted to, but he held back.
本職の人間をプロファイリングするとはね。岡崎くんって本当に食えないよね。
My job is a profile, you see. Okazaki's very cunning. No, was my answer wrong?
合ってるよ。正解。
Huh? No, you were right, correct. So why did he react like that then? Don't tell me he thought that I definitely wouldn't be able to understand, or that he was impressed that I was able to figure it out with my tiny brain. It's obviously that.
白石さんってひねくれてるよね。
Shirashi's quite contrarian? Contrarian? Nope.
なんだろう。君にだけは言われたくない気がする。
I wonder. I don't want to hear that from you.
なんだっけ。話がずれちゃった。12月に起きてる事件の共通点。
Hand pose. Ha, sorry, we're getting off topic. The commonary between December's incident, right? Wait. This is the wrong hand. This hand. This hand. Like this. The former game developer who was executed by gunshot worked on an online game that the victim in August played. Where's your thumb? Oh. The bombing at the Tokyo Metropolitan Office on the 15th targeted the Board of Education for covering up the school bullying. That's related to the middle school bombing that happened in June. In other words, the events that Shanjo warned us about are likely connected to the November homicide. Exactly. I was correct to think that the target would be someone related to the police who had been implicated in past scandals.
警察の不祥事って公にされてるものとそうでないものがあるよね。
But there are both police scandals that are known and unknown
君
to
が
the
調べ
public.
た中には警察内部しか知り得ない不祥事もあるでしょ
You found scandals that could only be known within the police, right? Yes, I looked up whatever I could, even if they weren't events that publics were aware of.
どっちも含めると数が多いしこれも絞れるんじゃないかな
There's a lot to look through if we include them all, so we'll need to narrow it down. Police scandals that were publicized and unpublicized. I would say publicized because they want an audience, and I would feel like they would stick the thing. Oh no. Unpublicized would probably be more what's the word? More likely because they want to highlight people not doing the right thing. Am I off topic? I mean, technically, Shigawara's story was that she had reported that she was being stalked and they just kept putting it off until her stalker like broke into her house and she was harassed so much. So technically unpublicized? I don't know. Sanjo seemed upset that the scandals that Todoroki was involved in hadn't really been publicized. So what if he wants to expose incidents that have been covered up?
個人の感情を言えばそうだけどアドニスは組織で動いてるんだよ
See, I tried. That might be true for him personally, but Adonis acts as an
誰かトップ
organization.
がいて駒たちを動かしてるなら組織の利益のためには違う方
If someone at the top is moving the pawns, then they would make moves that benefit the group, a benefit to the group. So they'd be trying to boost. I need to breathe. Jeez. So they'd be trying to boost Adonis's image as just the righteous, correct?
そっかだとしたら国民を扇動しやすい即効性があるものを選ぶんじゃない
Would they choose something that had immediate effect to easily agitate the
世
public?
間に公表されていて不自然にフェードアウトしたような事件の方が説得力が増すよね
It would be more persuasive to use a previously reported incident and claim that the media was strong-armed into covering it up. That's also true. Wait.
じゃあ公表されているものに的を絞ったとして三条圭介が狙うならどんな人物だと思う
If we narrow it down to these, then what sort of person would Kaisuke Sanjo target?
不祥事って言っても種類はたくさんあるよね収賄証拠捏造捜査ミス
There's a lot of different scandals: bribery, fabricating evidence, mistakes. Sanjo would target someone who's investigating mistakes hurt others, someone who got away with a crime. Do I know him this well? I mean, he's got a cool scar, but like, I don't know him that well. I mean, he is a former police officer, so I feel like this would bother him, right? Someone who screwed up and hurt others? Again and again, Adonis has asserted that the police are incompetent. Mistakes made during investigations are usually forgiven within the police force. Maybe Sanjo thinks that this attitude can't be forgiven. Okazaki tilted his head, troubled.
その理由だと
I don't think that fits. Why
三条だっ
not?
て元は警察組織の人間だよね
But that's exactly why I think he would hate. Okay, hang on. We're gonna reload 2 saves ago. Because no one seems to like my answers. Publicized. Sanjo despises police culture, so he'd be interested in unpublicized events, but that wouldn't fit the way Adonis has been doing things. If Adonis wants to provoke the police and stir up public animosity, as they have in the past, then I think they'd want quick results. For example, there could be publicly known events that had unnaturally faded from view. In other words, it might be more persuasive to use previously known incidents and claim that the media was manipulated to remove them from view.
俺もそう思うよ。事件を起こしたのは
I'm so smart.
確実なことなのに無罪になったもん。
I agree. The target is certain to be responsible for an incident, but was treated as innocent.
じゃあそれに的を絞ったとして、
Oh, there's no
三
skipping
条
here.
圭介が狙うならどんな人物だと思う？
So if we narrow it down to these, then the sort
正
of
直って言って
person...
も種類は
Yeah, skip, bro. Skip. Do it. Is this not working? What am I doing wrong? Do I not have... I've already seen this. Skip. Why? I hit the button. Quick save. L. I didn't know this. Quick load. R. This is interesting. It's a main menu. That's the menu I just opened. Okay, just kidding. Sanjo would target someone who got away with a crime. Used to be a police officer, he'd be aware that there are officers who lament that tough investigations and unintentional mistakes sometimes lead to damaging consequences. I'm not condoning the mistakes, but if he experienced that, then I doubt he'd be willing to kill for such reasons. Okazaki nodded in agreement.
彼なりの信念や正義がある。俺にもそう見えたよ。
He has his own beliefs and sense of justice. I could see that much. When he said that, I recalled Sanjo's words. They claim to be servants of the law, but any crimes committed by officers are swept under the rug, or even spun to the public as heroic tales. Gee, feels like my other option was the right answer. Which means the target is someone who should have been punished for committing a crime but wasn't charged and instead remained a police officer.
そうなるだろうね。
That would be it. Looking at my list, there were 4 people who fit all the conditions. Surprising, all of them worked in local police
知ってる人
boxes.
はいる？
Do you know any of them? No, I don't know anyone on police box duty that I haven't worked with directly. Even though they were stationed in Shinjuku, they were spread out all over the
ま
ward.
ずは彼らに危険が迫っていることを知らせた方がいいんじゃない？
Shouldn't we begin letting them know that they're in
電話だ
danger?
と信用されないだろうから直接会って話した方がいい。
I am wearing a collar with a microchip in it. Anyone can hear me. What are you talking about? Anyways, we can't trust telephones, so it'd be best to inform them personally. Then we should split up. I'll ask Mochida and Seiki to help.
事情は話せなくてもとにかく必死だってことが伝わればこのご時世だし危機意識も持つでしょう。
Even if you can't tell them everything, they should understand that it's an emergency if you can get the urgency across.
あとは犯行場所だけど。
What about the location of the crime? If the target point is along a patrol route, then there are too many to narrow
そっ
down.
ちは多分大丈夫。
I think you'll be okay on that part. Huh? How so?
実は昨日から吉成君に三条を見張らせてるんだ。
I've had Yoshinari telling Sanjo since our meeting started yesterday.
彼らはま
Oh,
だ面が割れてないからね。
Sanjo won't be able to slip him. Since when? I was impressed by Okazaki's preparedness. Though if Sanjo was relocated after we left, then it wouldn't be possible to track him. Which meant that Okazaki had already called Yoshinari when we were at the building.
昨日見た感じだと三条はくぐってきた修羅場が多そうだし。
Based on
相当
what I
実力も
saw
ありそうだったけ
yesterday,
ど
Sanjo's seen his fair share of action and he looked like he could handle
実は
himself.
ねうちの吉成君もああ見えてものすっごく強いし素早いしずぶといんだよ。
Actually, Yoshinari is way stronger, faster, and braver than he looks, so don't worry about him. Really?
うん何回か死んでもおかしくない経験してるから
Yeah,
ね。
anyone else would have died a dozen times by now. I really don't want to know. It made sense since Yoshinari was an SP officer, but I wouldn't expect it from his demeanor.
あ、吉成君だと何もないところでつまずいて盛大に転んで対象逃がしちゃいそうだなとか思ったでしょ。
We'll see, we'll see. You probably thought that Yoshinari's the type to trip over himself and let the target get away, didn't you? Hello, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long. No, I wouldn't go that far.
ああ、上から降ってきた植木鉢が頭に当たったりもしそうだよね。うん、似合う。
And a flower pot would have totally dropped on his head out of nowhere. Yep, that fits. I hope not. He'd die.
でも驚くことに彼はちゃんと避けられるんだよ。
You're actually moving like from where you're currently at or to a different place? Like out of city? Really? That's exciting. How dare you not call and tell me this? Are you staying with the company? Or are you going somewhere else? Now I'm scared. I know it's super costly there. I know this because I had been asked once if I would be willing to relocate up there, and I did the literal math on how much more I would have to make an hour to afford this, like, an apartment. Did you ask them, or did they say no? But yeah, when I said, hey, I would have to get like $5 more an hour to work in Flag, they were like, nah. And I was like, okay, then no. They do transfer. I've had people transfer before. You're telling me this? Nate told me that he's technically leaving, but he's still going to be an SGA, but he's got another job too. What is with this? Everyone's leaving me. That's messed up. I would call a store there and just see if they have a spot if you really want to stay. But that means you're also not going to be at conference this year. Who am I going to talk to? This is disappointing. How could you do this? Although, is Tucson closer? I can't remember. But actually he completely dodged it. Surprising, right? For some reason, Okazaki painted a very comically competent image of Yoshinari. They do, but they'd rather have one SL run like 3 stores than have me take one of the free store. That's totally true and frustrating. I actually got scared because I got a phone call the other day, and it was because they needed someone to cover a shift. But at first, the way he was talking to me, I was waiting for him to tell me that he wanted me to take on a 3rd store. I was like, please don't do this to me. I don't want a 3rd one. 2's enough. 2's enough. That's wild. That is true. If they do have an SL3 though in Tucson, that's a nightmare. It's just too much. 2 stores already is too much. I have enough trouble, like, if someone calls out, getting someone to cover at one of my stores. Like, I have my A store has the most flexible staff because they've worked with me the longest and they love me. And they'll do their best to help out when I need help. But my B store, because I'm still like a stranger to them, they don't like to help out. Even in emergencies. And I'm like, all right, because I don't force anybody to do stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, thanks. All right, bye. And then I panic. So the chances of Sanjo being a red herring meant to distract us while someone else committed the crime are very high. Almost 0. Okazaki answered confidently. I think it's very likely he'll do the job himself. His hatreds of cops who've twisted justice is deep. He wouldn't leave this to anybody else. Agreed, I think he'll do it himself too. We're going to con still, but if they don't transfer by... Oh, okay. So you're just packing right now is what and not, I thought you meant like you were moving very soon. By September, you're going to find a new place. Oh, you're already playing for the other place? Is it a house? Are you getting a house? Are you upgrading, or is it just another apartment? I don't know if I'd want to pay for the other place. Is it bigger? Have you seen it? Did you actually get to see it in person yet? Did you take a day trip? All these questions because I never get to talk to you. See, I should just call your store sometime. Exciting-ish. I don't know if you've seen, like, I redid my background. It's got stuff everywhere now. Look, it's been a minute. I think he'll do it himself. All right, I read that. Besides, he said this was a contest, so it's only natural that he'd take part. I nodded in firm agreement. It was a near certainty that Sanjo would take part in the crime. I'd sensed that he was acting based on his own personal code, and then that he had suffered a terrible tragedy in his past. I didn't think he'd stray from his convictions. But there may be multiple scattered attacks. That's scary. In June, you're going to move in until you transfer, which will help pay for the place, which is a new house. A new house, yes! Are you renting the house or do you own the house? That's the important thing, because I don't know when I'll own a house. It hurts me. Yes, I'll bother you at work sometime soon. Yes, we decided to get taller shelves. It was great. I'm so proud of you. You're doing an adult thing. I can't do that. I want to be an adult someday. That's fun. That's exciting. I'm glad that you're getting to upgrade your life. And if GS doesn't treat you right, then I feel that. We should narrow down the possible locations to areas along the target's patrol routes with a connection to past countdown crimes. Why don't you leave that to Yanagi's team? That's exactly what I was thinking. That's why I would like the two DMs will work with me, but they are not. That sucks. Like, that's not fun at all. I also just for the fun fact, my chat finally started working, and it's so tiny, it's so micro up there. I gotta fix it, and I don't know how to fix it. It did not display for the first 6 months I've had this. And then yesterday it finally started working, so I didn't do anything. It just started working finally, and then I realized it's so small you can't read it. Ha 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 ha. I'm using Streamlabs. I have OBS as well, but I use Streamlabs. Like, I downloaded them both, but Streamlabs was easier to get started, and OBS scares me. That sucks. I'm mad that they're not doing stuff to help. Like, it's one of those things where they talk about, like, they want us to have, they like tenured associates, and then they don't act like they like tenured associates. Oh, I went to Universal. Here, you went on my last stream. Look, I got my nails did. I did Rosalina. I gotta go see Mario Land, which is what I'm calling it. Can't you just pull the corners? When I do, it made the entire thing bigger, like taller, and I want it to stay short like it is. See what I mean? Like, the entire thing grows, and I want it to stay like I don't want it to go higher than this in terms of, like, on the screen. Does that make sense? Does anything I say make sense? Let's edit it. Do I have a choice? I really don't see a choice. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, I want it to. I would be fine with it being all the way to the corner of the frame, but I don't want it to be taller than this. And if I go to the corner of the frame, it gets taller. It's hurting my feelings. I've only just recently got this to work, so... And I didn't do it. It did it itself. I hadn't even realized it was working because my screen is a... What do you call it? A very long screen, so all my stuff is on this screen, and so half of my Screw Lab is covered. It was a lot of fun. I had enjoyed it a lot. See, all this stuff you don't get to hear about because we don't work together anymore. Should stop snapping. Like, I just want you to go down a little bit and you go all the way down. It's snapping to my video screen, which doesn't help because I have a frame around my video screen instead of around the frame. Anywhoosies. Lol. I don't know where to change that. I thought it doesn't show it to me. It just says, how do I want display messages? Show icons. I don't see an edit for the size. Maybe I have to do it, like delete it entirely and reload it. But what if I break it? I don't see like deep properties on this. I was honestly just more interested in the fact that it finally started working. And I didn't even know. It was so exciting. Enter export, select all, rename, filters, projection, create source. Right click and then hit properties. Properties only just shows me theme, show messages, hide delay, chat delay, double blah 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 message, and then show platform icons. It doesn't say anything about the width or size of this. It is what it is. I finally have chat on screen. That's all that really matters. Did I break it? I broke it. I just turned off the always show messages and then it did that. I wanted to not stay on forever. It doesn't show browser settings. I probably broke it. It's all me. I also don't see an option to like only show messages for a short amount of time, which I thought there was an option for that where it would like fade out. I don't know. I might have to just delete it and reinstall it at some point. We'll see. Another day. I hadn't touched my screen in so long. I scared myself. Startled myself. All right. Why don't we leave that to Yanagi's team? Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The Discords. Yeah, we could go and do that later. I just want to stream for now because I have plans in the afternoon and I didn't want to troubleshoot this because I've been trying to beat this one. But I can bother you later and you can maybe help me with it. For now, I was literally going to do a day where I'm just like not streaming, but just doing a basic chat so I can try and fix my stuff. Because originally it wasn't doing this at all. And then yesterday it started working for the first time ever. I had done nothing differently, so I don't know why it started working yesterday. Yay! But literally I was just surprised because like this was cut off. I couldn't see the sides. I didn't even realize the chat was showing because I hadn't had chat showing ever. And it was so exciting, but then I realized I needed to move it because the chat was now covering like chat bubbles when I'm playing games. So I had to move the chat. And it's so tiny, you can't even read it. And I'm like, oh man, I messed up. What did I do wrong? So it's exciting though. We're getting there. I actually might just make it invisible for now because it's so tiny you can't even read it. But yeah, what are you playing today? Are you playing Zelda? What are you gaming? I'm just trying to get through this one. So you made up with Yanagi. Ha! That's boring. Actually, I think it's really exciting that I'm friends with everybody now. Except me, right? Oh, you're so mean. Maybe so. You're still kind of hard to deal with. You're interviewing a VTuber? That's so exciting. I love your interviews. It's probably not someone I know because I only know like one VTuber. Technically two. Two VTubers. I know two VTubers and that's it. Everybody else is new to me. That's exciting. It's in an hour. Maybe I'll be done with the storyline and I can actually listen to it. Maybe so. You're still kind of hard to deal with. So mean. I never intended to be friendly. I really have no concept of what you mean when you say friends. Tanuki? Are they like a tanuki? Like a raccoon? Oh, it is a tanuki. I thought you said it was tanuki, like that was their name. That sounds adorable. I was just gonna be a basic one. I was supposed to be a bunny. My little avatar was supposed to be a bunny. Oh wait, this direction, sorry. I just realized it's reversed. I was supposed to be a bunny, but then we didn't finish making the VTuber part of it, so I'm just a flesh tuber now. That's too bad, sorry. Oh, I hit the button too fast. I'm so appreciative, I thought I might cry. There's no need to apologize. They were smiling. The barbs that Okazaki and Shirashi were trading didn't match the wide grins on their faces. This is scary. The chill that ran down my back was so bad that I couldn't even hear what they were saying. So why don't we all get to work? I interrupted their chat out of desperation. They simultaneously turned to me and nodded. Okay, don't worry, I'll be sure to stop this. I'm interested in the outcome of this game, so I'll help however I can. Be a bunny. It's okay. It was gonna be, so my son's the one who drew my art. I think I've told you this before. He drew all the art for my channel, and he had started making the VTuber stuff because he wanted to make his own VTuber, and so he started making mine, and then he just stopped, and I have this really cute avatar that's like crazy high def because it was gonna be rigged, and then he never rigged it. He was like literally breaking down all the components so that the hair would move. It was fun to watch, but then he's like me and he got bored, and so he stopped doing it. I'm interested in the outcome of this game, so I'll help however I can. Thank you. He should help however he can because he's on the good guys team anyways. That's weird. Yep. Wow, indeed. That's how my son works. He's just like, look, it's crazy. He spent like, I don't even know how long he spent making my character. But now it has its own story, so it has a whole backstory that who knows when I'll start unveiling those little backstories, but she kind of stands on her own. She's her own person. The plan was set. Once we decided our individual orders, I contacted our allies. Then the operation would begin once we heard from Yoshinari. Ooh. Yoshinari told us that Sanjo was making his way towards Shinjuku Garden, so Okazaki started to head there too. Yoshinari and Mochida would be standing by outside the park just in case anything happened. Currently, no civilians were allowed inside Shinjuku Garden. It had been made off limits ever since it was used as a site for the X-Day murders that happened in August. Ever since that point, it had been added to the list of patrol routes of officers that worked in police boxes. There has to be a reason why they picked this place. Yes, I think so too. This was the center of the August incident. And one night it had been the place where I was, and one night it had been the place where I was collared when they put this collar around my neck that has a sound device in it, which means the bad guys can hear me all the time. Listen, Kai, I'm talking. They can hear me all the time. Why are we acting like I have any privacy at this point? Normally, I wouldn't think that they'd choose this place as a crime scene. It's easy to discover. This whole thing is sus. I try not to read too much into the story before I play it, so I'm surprised. So this game I thought was her like locked in a room with a bunch of people also wearing collars. She's the only one wearing a collar. I found out as soon as I started playing. And there's no locked up. She's free to roam, but it's still like a battle royale collar where it can kill her. But it has a microchip in it, and like they can hear her and they can maybe see. And I'm just like, this is not what I was picturing. And why would you still go to work like this? Why would you put the world in danger? You're a police officer that is having everything you say broadcasted to the bad guys. Seems like a bad idea. It just seems like such a bad idea, and I don't think it's smart. She said that the criminal's behavior suggests that they had come here.
もし三条がここを選ぶなら、彼は破壊願望者か。
I mean,
この
it
状
sounds
況
right.
を楽しんでる。
If Sanjo picks this place, maybe he just wants to see everything burn. I also want to see everything burn. He came here specifically because he knew that the police would know.
象徴的な場所を選ぶのはパフォーマンスの一環かな。
Part of the theatrical performance is choosing a stage that has symbolism, I
本気で
guess.
逃げる気がない証拠だと思うよ。
I think it's proof he's serious about not running. We talked, waited for the appointment time. There were only a few minutes left until the target officer was set to arrive.
おお、ご苦労さん。
It's my favorite character. Well, nice work. Sigh. When Sanjo showed up with an uncannily casual attitude, Okazaki moved in front to protect me from
お前たちが
anything.
ここにいるってことは、ターゲットを絞れたんだな。
You're here, which means that you must have narrowed down the target. Not bad. He's so happy. Oh, I didn't mean to hit skip. I meant to hit this one.
あれだけヒントをもらってればね。
Man, you gave us a lot of hints. Your target was supposed to pass through here, wasn't he?
ああ、そうだ。あの最低な野郎がな。
Yeah, that's right. He's the lowest of the low.
塩見かける、25歳。
Kakaru Shiromi, 25 years
彼はも
old.
ともと地方の交番勤務で、婦女暴行の嫌疑がかけられていた。
Formerly on police box duty in another jurisdiction, is suspected of sexual
し
assault.
かも常習犯。
Dear.
複数の被害届が出されていたけど、すべて罪に問われ
And
る
she
ことは
wants to
ない。
know them. She wants to be found by the bad guys. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there. So, I'm sure you're familiar with the Tomy games. I don't know if there's an unlocked character that you get later that's a bad guy, but I'm sure there's something. We could join the bad guys. He was supposedly a repeat offender. Numerous criminal complaints were filed, but he was never formally charged for any of
そう
them.
だよね。
Is that right?
なあ、お偉いさんの息子だかなんだかで、結局もみ消されて。
He's the kid of some big wig, so everything he did was all covered
その
up.
せいで異動になったっていうが、むしろ東京への異動じゃ出世だろ。名誉の功績扱いかなんかだ。
They just transferred him instead. A transfer to Tokyo is more like a promotion, a reward for his disgusting service.
普通なら免職か実刑か。いや、復讐で殺されたって文句言えねえ立場だろ。
Normally, he'd be convicted or fired. Actually, he might have even been targeted by a revenge hit.
なのに悪びれず、逆に濡れ衣だなんだ。被害者ずれして周りに話してやがる。あんな野郎は裁かれて当然なんだよ。
Instead, he wasn't discouraged. He just accused his victims of making false charges against him. A bastard like him deserves judgment. Sanjo's temper was calm, but I could hear the contempt in his words. I stood my ground and watched him, refusing to let myself be intimidated.
他にも、君にとって裁くべき候補者はいた。
Why would you be intimidated?
でも一人に絞ったのは、ここを巡回する警察官だったからなのかな。
You had other candidates for judgment as well, but you decided to target the officer who was officer patrolling this
そこまで
area.
分かってんのか。勘がいいね。
All right, have a great stream. Hopefully, I'll be able to tune in.
俺の傾向を分析
Have
でも
fun. So you figured it out. You're sharp, kid, or maybe one of your profilers psychoanalyzed me.
どっちもかな。8月の事件に関わりのあるこの場所を選んだのはどうして？
Both. Why did you pick this place? For its connection for the August homicides?
お前たちに関係のある話か。
What about the connection to you? Yeah, there is one. However, even if you picked this place so you could grandstand, Adonis does have a taste for the theatrical, but it doesn't bite off more than it can chew. They always move with a purpose.
予想以上に。警察にしちゃ骨のある奴らだな。
Now this is a surprise, so there are still a few cops with some metal.
その通りだ。俺がここを選んだのには、それなりの理由がある。
You're right. I picked this place for a good reason.
何
And what reason is that?
俺が8月の事件の実行犯だからだよ。
I was the perp in August. What did you just say?
不思議な話じゃないだろう。お前たちも毎月のカウントダウンが交換殺人ってことには気づいてるはずだ。
Makes sense, doesn't it? You probably figured out that the monthly countdowns were all substitution murders.
なら、俺が自分の復讐を任せた代わりに、誰かの復讐を肩代わりしたってのは自然な流れだろうが。
I do enjoy the strangers on a train concept of this. So I let someone else carry out my revenge, and I got saddled with fulfilling someone else's need for revenge. The August murders. Players of an online video game had been shot and killed in a series of murders. This event had the highest death toll next to the June incident. The shootings spanned several days, producing numerous victims, but the killer was never caught. Public trust in the police took a nosedive. This incident led to the repeal of the swords and firearm control law in Shinjuku. It was all you? You shot them all in the head?
そうだ。俺がやった。
That's right. I did it. Oh! Keep hitting that one. I may hit this one. It's my bad. I apologize. Even if this was revenge for someone, how could you kill so many people you had no issue with?
ジョーちゃんには理解できねえみたいだな。つうか、何か勘違いしてるみたいだ。
Girl, you just don't understand. You seem to have gotten the wrong idea about me.
俺たちなりの正義や信念がある。とでも思って、同情的になってたか？
Did you empathize with me, thinking that I worked off of some kind of personal code?
まあ、アドニスが掲げる正義っつうのは、一つのやり方としてありだとは思ってる。
Well, Adonis does follow its own idea of justice, so maybe that's true,
ど
but...
んな理由があろうと、どんな大義を抱えてようと、殺人は殺人だ。
Murder is
言い
murder.
訳なんかできねえんだよ。
No matter how grand or noble the reason, there is no excuse for what I've done. Sanjo's matter-of-fact words sounded like they were coming from a police officer, but he wasn't one. That
俺
meant...
は己が人殺しであることを否定しない。正当化するつもりもない。アドニスと違ってな。
I won't deny that I'm a murderer. Unlike Adonis, I won't try to justify it.
白石さんの言った通りだね。君は警察のこともアドニスのことも。言ってしまえば、この世界のことがどうでもいい。
Shirashi was right. To both the police and Adonis, I'd say you're indifferent to the entire world.
お前も似たようなもんだと思うけどな。
Yeah, I think you feel the same way. What does he mean?
俺は8月、15人をこの手で殺した。
In August, I killed
俺が
15
過去に受け
people.
た傷なんてのより、15人殺した罪の方がよっぽど重い。それだけ殺して許されるなんざ思ってね。
The weight of those 15 deaths is far heavier than the wounds I suffered in the past. I don't expect to be forgiven for what I've done. If you know that, then why?
だが、その命の重さは誰が測る？償いきれない罪に罰を与えたところで、多額の金を渡したところで、
Itchy.
遺族は満足するのか？
But who decides the weight of a life? When one is punished for a heinous crime and money changes hand, does it satisfy the bereaved?
現行の法なら、俺は間違いなく死刑だろう。だが、俺は死ぬことを恐れてね。
By law, I certainly deserve the death
やった
penalty.
もん勝ちだ。
But I'm not afraid of death. In fact, death would be a victory. What? Are you serious? Sanjo's flippantness made me quiver with rage. I started to take an unconscious step towards him when Okazaki blocked me with his arm.
君は過去に辛い思いをした。だから復讐をしようとまで思った。
Sanjo, you suffered in the past, so you wanted to get
君は
revenge.
痛みを知ってる。警察にいたなら救えなかった苦しみも知ってる。
Trying to understand his outfit. Oh, it's his jacket liner. Just kidding. For a minute, I thought he had the whitest pants I've ever seen. I know your pain. I know your inconsolable suffering of being in the
君が
police.
殺した人たちの家族や友人、その人たちに同じ理不尽を味わわせてまでやった者勝ちだって本気で言えるの？
Can you really say you've won by making the friends and family of the people you've killed taste that same
だ
unfairness?
からだよ。
That's why I did it.
理不尽だと思うだろ。それが世の真実だ。俺はそれが許せなくて。
It's unfair, isn't it? It's the law of the world. I can't forgive it. I've lost faith in the world. That can't be.
8月の動機になったネットいじめもそうだな。画面の向こうに生きた人間がいると想像もできずに、匿名で誹謗中傷、人権侵害は当たり前。
Cyberbullying drove the August killing. People violate the human dignity of others because they're anonymous behind a
ネ
screen.
ットごときにのめり込むやつが悪いか。だがネットは空想や幻想の世界じゃない。確かに現実とつながってる。
Are the
影響を及ぼす。
Thought he was done. My bad. Are the internet addicts really in the wrong? But the internet isn't some imaginary world. Action there still have real world
そ
consequences.
れを忘れて、有名税だからと芸能人を貶める。気に入らない奴の悪事をでっち上げて広める。いくらでもやりたい放題だ。
Trolls forget that and harass celebs out of envy. They spread lies about people they don't like. They do whatever they
広
want.
大なネット世界を取り締まりきれるわけもなく、片隅の掲示板の書き込みで人格を否定され、今日も象を育ててる奴がいる。
There's no controlling what goes on in the vast internet, and in pockets of the net, there are places where people do nothing but foster
た
hate.
かがネットだから、壁の落書きと同じだから。自分のしたことの重さに気づかず、眠ったら忘れる。
It's all just meaningless fun to them. They sleep well, ignoring their crime's weight, and they wake to repeat it again.
やったもん勝ちじゃねえか。そうだろ？
Victory goes to the swift. Isn't that right? A world that allows this is undoubtedly sick. What I learned by listening to Sanjo was his distrust for society. No, for humanity. And I could tell that at one time he had been a very honorable man.
じゃあ、そういう被害を受けた人の代わりに、
So you took revenge for the people who were
あれ
hurt.
だけの人間を殺したのは、そのネットいじめの被害者に同情したから。
You killed that many people because they sympathized with the online bullies. I thought they were the bullies.
そういう生ぬるい話じゃないんだがな。
Sympathized? I wasn't that half-assed
そ
about
も
it.
そも俺は8月の事件を起こしただけで、本来動機となったやつとは交流がないんでね。
First off, I only executed the August incident. I never interacted with the guy who requested it. I'm gonna assume the guy who requested it is... We're gonna talk in first person as if I am really this person, my brother's friend, the one that came over and was hanging out in his room. And there's probably even a small chance that my brother is related to the incidents as well because he sucks. And maybe, I don't know if it's going to be this round, it might be a different round. At some point, I have to save my brother from becoming an X-Day criminal. That's a possibility, not a guarantee. Additionally, I'm going to say I'm 100% positive that the friend is involved because he kind of flat out said this. He's like, why am I not being investigated? You suck as a police officer, basically to my face, and I somehow didn't hear this. So, what do you mean? You never contacted the person who committed the substitute murder for you?
三条たちをまとめて指揮を執ってるアドニスの人間がいるってことだろうね。
Sanjo and the others probably have someone at Adonis directing their
俺たちは
actions.
基本、駒に過ぎない。
We're
上
basically
に言われ
pawns.
た通りのことをするだけだ。
We just do what the higher ups say.
その代わり、俺たちの願いを叶えてもらう制約をした。
In exchange, they promised to make our wishes come
君の
true.
願いは轟の死。
You wished for the death of Todoroki.
いや、
No. For a moment, Sanjo was silent. His expression was a mix of pain and recollection, as if he was reliving the past.
破滅だ。
Destruction. But when he looked up again, his eyes were devoid of any human warmth. His lack of hope mirrored his choice of words. He wanted to destroy it all, so he had joined Adonis. There was no anger or sadness there. They were eyes that reflected the abyss.
ある意味、正当なテロリストの姿だね。
In a way, you're the model terrorist.
SP の岡崎だったか？お前も
He do want to die.
俺と同じだ。
You're Okazaki from the SP. You want to die, don't you? Like me.
死に場所を求める目をしてる。
Your eyes tell me you're searching for a place to die. Okazaki is? He couldn't hide his shock. To think that Okazaki could be just like Sanjo, who only wanted destruction. There was no reason to
なん
believe
で俺の
that.
名前を知ってるの？
How did you know my
お
name?
前たちも俺を調べたんだから、おあいこだろ？
I looked you up. I'm sure you did likewise.
やっぱり首輪を通して聞いていた。
So you were listening through the collar.
首輪を操作してる人間使いで報告を受けて。
No. Maybe you were taking orders from the person who's in control of the collar. Maybe. Sanjo smiled boldly. From what Okazaki had said, I'd wondered if Sanjo was the person behind the collar, but that probably wasn't the case. The person behind the collar wasn't the type to risk being exposed, which meant that Sanjo had been told about information that the collar had picked up. I understand what you're trying to say and that you aren't afraid of capture or death. As a police officer, I have to arrest you, but there's something I want you to tell me.
なんだ？
What? I won your contest, right? I stopped tonight's murder? So I'd like you to keep your end of the bargain.
ああ？これまでの話で理解できなかったが、俺の話なんざ聞いても何の価値もねえよ。
After all this, you still don't get it? Nothing I can tell you will be of any value.
轟のやったことを根節丁寧に説明しても胸くそ悪いだけだろうし、今さら世間に公表されたところで罰せられるわけでもねえ。
You'd be disgusted if I told you everything Todoroki's done. And even if you publicized it, it's not like he could be punished. Still, I need to know as a police officer. I can't ignore this. There's a blight within the police, and there are people who have been hurt by it. That's all the more reason not to bury
下っ
it.
端のお嬢ちゃんがいくら訴えたところで何も変わらねえと思うが。
I doubt a B cop like you is going to affect any sort of change. I know that. This is just for my own satisfaction. I still want to hear it from you.
聞いても楽しくねえと思うけどな。あまり話しすぎてボスに怒られたくもねえし。
Girl, you won't enjoy it. I also don't want to anger the boss.
でも、嬢ちゃんを試すことになるなら、それもありって判断はしそうか。
Though, yeah, he might actually want you to hear this as a way of testing you. I thought I heard Sanjo whisper something when he quietly moved his arm. Sanjo drew a gun from his holster. An instant later, Okazaki had also drawn his pistol. He then methodically adjusted his positioning to completely shield me from Sanjo's view with his own body. Okazaki,
大丈夫。心配しないで。
it's okay. Don't worry.
いい反応だな。殺しちまうのには惜しい人材だ。
Nice reflexes. I'd be sorry to kill you.
ここで射撃勝負ってのも悪くはねえが、お前らのおかげで少し楽しみが増えた。
I wouldn't mind having a shootout here, but thanks to the two of you, things have gotten fun. Before I could process what he was saying, Okazaki! I heard a gunshot and I dove to the ground.
威嚇射撃だよ。どこも撃たれてない。
It was a warning shot. He wasn't aiming for us. Sorry, I didn't.
外してくると思わなくて追撃が遅れた。逃げられた。
Sorry, I didn't think he'd deliberately miss and I was slow to pursue him. He got away. Peering out from behind Okazaki, I saw Sanjo had disappeared. Please don't apologize. Let's follow
君は
him.
外で待機してた方がいい。今の惨状はどんな行動に出るかわからない。
You should stand by outside. We don't know what Sanjo will do next. No, I still have questions for him. I know I'll slow you down, and I'm sorry, but I can shoot if I need to. Please take me with you. But although the entrance to the park was sealed off, it was still possible to lose Sanjo on Sanjo trail in here. I gulped and looked at Okazaki. Please, I trust you to protect me.
それを言われちゃったら仕方ないな。絶対に。
I guess I have no
俺の後ろから
choice.
離れないでね。
When you put it that way, whatever you do, don't run out from behind
それ
me.
だ。君は銃を抜かないで。
Also, don't draw your weapon.
相手は狙撃の腕が相当高い。銃を持ってる人間の方が狙われやすい。
Sanjo is a skilled shooter. He's more likely to target you if you're armed. But
今
that
は
means
適
you
材適所を考えて。君を傷つけるわけにはいかない。
consider the situation. You can't be wounded now. All right. I nodded in agreement, and we headed off in the direction that Sanjo had fled.
こっちの方に逃げたはずだけど。
You should have gone this way.
隠れて。
Hide! A bullet impacted the ground about 1 meter in front of Okazaki. Where did it come from?
あの木の陰からだね。
Shadow of that tree. It's
もう
okay.
方向は分かってるから。
I know his position, so we won't just be picked off.
危険を顧みず追いかけてきたか。本当に気の強い。
You threw caution to the wind and came after me. You sure are spunky and reckless.
それが彼女のいいところだよ。それに、俺が守るから
He
心
said
配
that's
ない。
great about me. That's the great thing about her, and I'll protect her so she doesn't have to fear.
気取りか。お前みたいなやつが一体どんな理由でそいつを守ってるか知らねえが。
A knight in shining armor. I don't know why a guy like you would protect her.
驚きの話。
Fine. I'll talk about Todoroki. I couldn't see the speaker, but his voice had my undivided attention.
さっき言ったのと同じだ。やったもん勝ち。
Well, it's like I said, he who hits first
あいつは
wins.
権力を傘に来て何人もの警察官の人生を
He
壊し
destroyed officers' lives for his own political gain.
駆け出しの警察官だった頃は俺なりに警察ってもんを信じてたし俺なりの正義もあった。
Way back when I was a rookie cop, I might have still believed in the police force, the idea of justice.
正義なんてのはすぐに崩れ去った。
But any justice I knew quickly crumbled.
昼夜問わず暴力罵倒は当たり前。上司のミスで責任を押し付けられ功績を上げても上司の手柄にされる。
Every day, I was physically abused without reason and blamed for my superiors' mistakes, all while they took credit for my successes.
そんな毎日でも誰かのためになってると思って続けてた。
I kept thinking it was worth it because I was helping people.
決定的だったのは轟の不備による交通事故で死亡者が出た時だ。
Then one day, the last straw was laid down. Todoroki carelessly caused fatalities in a traffic accident. I almost said the wrong word.
葬式に行ってお前が遺族に土下座してこいと言われた。
I was told to go to the funeral, get down on my knees, and apologize to the bereaved
もう洗脳だ
family.
ったな。あいつの圧力に従うのが当たり前だったから言われた通り土下座して
I was already brainwashed and broken, so I just followed his orders and I knelt in front of the family for a savage tongue lashing.
限界だ。どうして今まで我慢してたんだ。逃げればいいじゃねえかと思ったある日。
That was my limit. Why did I put up with it? One day I thought about running away.
笑いながら同僚に話しているのを聞いた。
I heard Todoroki laughing about me to another
あいつに
colleague.
土下座させてやったのは俺の愛情。あれであいつも箔がついた。
I made him kneel as a show of my love. It increased his
気が
value.
晴れて円満解決。みんな幸せでハッピーエンドじゃねえか。
The families get everything off their chest. Didn't it work out great for everyone? That's what he said. I felt a chill run down my spine as Sanjo told a disturbing tale with utter indifference.
俺は怒りに燃えたんじゃない。その時、心から恐怖を覚えた。
I wasn't angry. Back then, I felt true fear.
轟だけでなく、周りの同僚たちもそれを聞いて。
Todoroki wasn't the only one laughing. My coworkers laughed like they enjoyed the stories. They just kept laughing like they were madmen.
俺と同じように麻痺していたのかもしれねえが、こいつらは人間じゃねえって思った。
They'd probably been put through the same ordeal, but I couldn't think of them as human anymore. When he finished, there was silence. Okazaki and I didn't say anything. I can empathize with your position, but that's all the more reason I can't allow this lynching. That was the only earnest remark I could make. Sanjo stepped out from the shadows, gun in hand. Okazaki watched him intently without letting his guard down.
じゃあ、他の誰が裁く？警察や法は奴らを裁こうとしない。このまま野放しにしておけっていうのか？
Then who else will judge them? The police and the law didn't even attempt to, and you're saying we should let them
だ
go.
から君たちが警察になり代わって裁くってこと。
So you've decided that you get to judge them in place of the police and the laws?
君たちの勝手な判断基準で裁いて世間が喜ぶと思ってるなら大間違いだよ。
You judge people based on arbitrary standards. You're sadly mistaken if you think people
ルールの
approve.
ない無秩序な世界になる。この世界に警察は絶対に必要だ。
It'll just lead to anarchy. The world needs the police.
確かに警察の汚職事件や不祥事は多い。曖昧な法で傷つく人もたくさんい
You're
る。
not making a good case. It's true the police have scandals and corruption. The law has failed a lot of innocent citizens.
規模が大きい組織であればあるほど、全てにおいて清廉潔白ではいられない。
Not, again, helping. But the larger the scale of the organization, the harder it is for it to stay completely
警
clean.
察官として働いていたなら、自分が守ってきたものの多さも知ってるよね。
You used to be an officer. I love his nails. Like, look at his nails. Like, he's got that one nail. It's real pretty. You used to be an officer, so you understand how much your protection helps, don't you?
警察っていう組織がなくなってしまったら、苦しむ人、傷つく人、悲しむ人が今より格段に増えるんだ。
If the police were to no longer exist, then all the suffering, damage, and sorrow in Japan would drastically
綺
increase.
麗事を並べてくれてありがとうな。でも、俺はそんなことはどうでもいいんだ。
Thanks for the pretty words, but I don't care about any of
この
that.
先、誰が泣こうが苦しもうが、俺には関係ない。俺は俺の復讐を果たした。
Whether the people
あとは
cry,
流れに身を任せて楽しむだけだ。
whether people cry or suffer after this is none of my concern. I got my revenge. I'm just going to enjoy whatever comes
その
next.
ついでに、警察っていう腐った組織が崩壊すれば、もっと気が晴れる。
And if the rotten police happen to collapse, that's just, will just be icing on the
つ
cake.
いでそれで気が晴れるなんて、君は元上司と同類になってるんじゃないの？
If they happen to, isn't that the same pleasure that your superior enjoyed?
本当は分かってるんだよね。こんなことをしても誰の気も晴れない。
You do
君のや
understand,
って
I
る
think.
ことに意味なんてない。
That won't satisfy anybody. What you're doing has no purpose. Sanjo glared at Okazaki with narrowed eyes. He raised his chin, but he didn't move.
言っただろ。もう意味がないことなんて分かりきってるんだよ。
I've said this before, didn't I? I already know it's pointless.
そうみたいだね。言葉で説得できないことは
So you
な
do.
かったよ。
There's no convincing you then.
岡崎、お前はやけに警察を信じてるようだが、
Okazaki, you have an awful lot of faith in the
警
police.
察って組織を守るために小さな犠牲は仕方ねえって言うなら、結局それも俺たちテロ組織と同じ考えじゃねえ
The
か。
police must make small sacrifices for the greater good of the organization. Then in the end, aren't they just like us
アドニ
terrorists?
スの目的は再生だ。この汚染された国から犯罪者を一掃する。恒久的な平和のために犠牲は必要だって考えだからな。
The goal of Adonis is rebirth. They'll purge all the criminals from the corrupt country. They feel it's a necessary cost to create lasting
今後
peace.
平和を管理するのが警察じゃなくアドニスになるってだけの話だ。
It means Adonis will be the ones to keep track of that peace, not
抵
the
抗するんだ
police.
ね。
Looks like we're on parallel paths
そうだ
then.
な。
So it does. They continue to glare at each other. Sanjo was the first to break the tension.
約束通り話したぜ。俺にもう用はないだろう。
That fulfills my end of the bargain. You don't need me
こ
anymore.
こで捕まえるか逃がしてまた泳がせた。お前らの好きにすればいいんじゃねえか。
Are you going to capture me or let me go? Just do what you want. I was trying to look at his shirt. It's got lions on it. Who was the perpetrator of the November
ハッ
incident?
キングが得意な奴が一人いてな。信号操作はそいつがやった。何度も言うが、俺たち駒を捕まえても意味はないぜ。
Your brother's friend, you silly bear. Someone who was a skilled hacker to control the traffic lights. I'll repeat myself again, but there's already no point to capturing us pawns. Yes, there is. Even if you're just a pawn, arresting you can reduce the number of casualties. With that, I bravely took a step forward. Okazaki warned me, but I shook my head to indicate that I'd be fine. So, Kaizuki Sanjo, I'm placing you under arrest for committing the August murders.
彼女の言う通りだよ。君を逃がして泳がせたところで、組織につながるようなボロを出すとは思えない。
It's like she says, I can't imagine that letting you go will lead us to your organization.
君がただの駒っていうのは、俺に
I
はちょ
also
っと違
think
和
there's
感があ
something
る。
off about your claims that you're just a pawn. What?
11月まで毎月起こってた事件の実行犯は互いに面識がない。アドニスの指示で誰の復讐かも知らずに手を下していた。
The perpetrator of each incident until November didn't know each other. They all acted to carry out someone else's revenge on Adonis's
それは理
orders.
解できる。一人が捕まっても他の人間に影響が出ないよう、連絡の痕跡を残さないようにするためにも自然だ。
I know that. Capturing one individual won't affect the group. It's obvious that you'd want to leave no tracks.
駒同士での結託も避けられるしね。
It would also prevent the pawns from
君たちが
overlapping.
もともとテロ組織の人間ならともかく、
Regardless of
復讐
whether
心を利用された
you
一
began
般
as a
人が
terrorist, if you were vengeful civilians who were being used,
実行犯同士の接触を避けたいはずだ。多分、互いに顔も名前も知らないんじゃないかな。
Adonis wouldn't want you knowing each other. You probably don't know other members' faces or names.
それが前提なら、各月の実行犯はおそらく彼女のことを知ら
So
ない。
working from that, the monthly pawns wouldn't know who she is.
菅原理香がいい例だ。首輪を見て動揺はしていたけど、彼女とは明らかに初対面だった。
Take Rika Shigawara, for example. She was totally shocked when she saw the collar, but she'd obviously never seen Lee before.
首輪をつけた人間は彼女に X-Day 事件を調べろと要求してる。
Plus, the person behind the collar asked her to investigate the crimes.
実行犯が彼女の存在を知っていたら警戒されて捜査もまともにできないからね。
If the perpetrators knew about her in advance, they'd be too wary of her to be
で
investigated.
も三条、君はそれに当てはまらない。君は彼女のことも首輪を通した話も知っていた。
But Sanjo, none of that matches your actions. You know who she is and what the caller heard.
多分君だけが違う。
You're not like the other pawns, are you? You're not like other girls, are you? No.
または中心人物を知る立場なんじゃないかな。
You must be one of the leaders or happen to know a leader. Good grief. Sanjo sighed as if he was admitting to Okazaki's deductions. I must say, Okazaki's deductions surprised me. It certainly made a lot of sense.
お前は俺が苦手なタイプだな。同族嫌悪ってやつか。
I knew you were the type I'd have trouble with. Opposites repel, I suppose.
同じだからこそ、その正義面にはヘドが出る。
Anyways, because we're the same, I spit on your justice. As Sanjo spat out those words of contempt. Okazaki! It all happened so fast. Okazaki suddenly lunged in front of me. Then there was a gunshot. His breath was ragged. Are you alright? You're bleeding.
大丈夫だから。そこから動かないで。
I'm fine, so don't move.
やっぱりか。
Figures. I couldn't help but be worried about Okazaki's wounds while Sanjo just
わざ
laughed.
と照準をずらしたね。俺が彼女をかばうって分かってて。
You missed on purpose, knowing I'd protect her.
かなり高い技術だ。致命傷にならないところを狙ったのもわざと。
You're quite skilled. Did you avoid hitting a vital organ on
ず
purpose?
っと背後にかばってたが、さっきジョーちゃんが少し前に出て、位置をずらしてくれたからな。
You've been shielding her, so when you stepped out, it gave me the opening I needed.
ほぼ同時に撃てたはずだ。だが、撃つことよりジョーちゃんをかばうことを
With your skills, you could have shot me, but you prioritized her protection.
俺に致命傷を与えられたかもしれねえのにな。
If you hadn't, you could have mortally wounded me right now. No,
ジョーちゃんには傷一つつけたくないってな。
you don't want the girl to get a scratch, eh?
やっぱり面白い。
Funny guy.
気が変わった。俺は捕まるつもりはないぜ。まだもう少し。
I changed my
お前ら
mind.
と遊んでみたいんでね。
I don't want to be arrested. I still want to play with you a bit. Sanjo had stopped speaking to us, but his lips were still moving. He looked like he was quietly muttering something. What did he say? I couldn't hear him from this distance, but it looked like he was about to try something. Okazaki had told me not to, but I decided to reach for my holster. I heard an electric sound from over in Sanjo's direction. Suddenly, the ground just exploded between all of us. I was buffeted by the buffeted by the deafening sounds and wind. Okazaki pulled me back and hugged me to shield me from the blast. Kya! I could hear a pained voice from above my head. My cheeks felt warm air. I felt a swell of emotions. Okazaki! Okazaki had used his body to block a piece of shrapnel that had been kicked up by the explosion. Where did the shrapnel come from?
君は怪我ないね。
Oh dear. I'm fine. Are you hurt? You are not fine. No, not a scratch. Okazaki! In a panic, I examined him. Oh, hey, look. I can see his side, sort of. Oh, God. His shirt was torn to shreds, and there were terrible burns and wounds all over his body. This is terrible. We hadn't even tried to stop the bleeding from the earlier gunshot wound. I'm sorry, this is my fault. It's because I didn't listen and stepped out. This is nothing. Like,
指は動くし。
I can move my fingers. I can protect you. I'm glad you didn't get hurt. I shook my head in confusion, feeling horribly guilty that he was still smiling at me. I'll give you first aid and then I'll call an
待て
ambulance.
最初から爆弾が仕掛けられていたならこのままここにいるのは危険だよ。
If he set up those bombs from the beginning, then we really can't stay here any
周囲に
longer.
火が燃え移るのも時間の問題だし一旦中央の方まで戻った方がいい。
It's only a matter of time until the fire spreads, so you should return to the center. But your
大
wounds...
丈夫だって 俺これくらいの傷なら慣れて
I'll
る
be fine. I'm used to stuff like this. Okazaki smiled like he always did. No, it was definitely more strained than usual. What are you saying? Of course, that smile didn't help a bit. Anyone could see that he wouldn't be fine. No matter how well he was trained, he'd probably he'd go into shock. How could he possibly smile at a time like
場所にも仕掛
this?
けられているかもしれない持田さんに誰も入れないよう伝えて
You might get attacked somewhere else. Tell Mochida not to let anyone in. I will. I hurriedly called Mochida, but instead of me talking, I got an earful from him instead.
今の爆発音は何だ黒煙も見えるぞ
Was that an explosion? I can see smoke. We were attacked with a bomb. Please don't let anyone else inside the park. What? Got it.
三条の姿はもう見えない後を追うか
I lost sight of Sanjo. Should we chase him or head back to the entrance? What do you want to do? My thoughts were a mess, but I made up my mind. You know what? Let's chase him. I want to see if I die. Can I die? Is death an option? Is this a route? I don't have a route map, you see. I'm gonna go. Okazaki, can you walk?
もちろん君を抱っこして走ることもできるよ
Of course, I can pick you up in my arms and run. Then please evacuate and get yourself somewhere safe. When you're somewhere secure, call an ambulance. Huh? I'm going after Sanjo alone.
ダメだよ危険すぎる
Too dangerous. I'll be okay. I have confidence in my pistol
そう
skills.
いう問題じゃない俺も一緒に
That's not the issue here. I should be with you. I won't let you be hurt again. And then I trotted off alone. With that, I spun on my heels and started running.
待って
Wait! Okazaki yelled at me, but I didn't look back. Trot, 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 trot. Pant, pant, pant. I sprinted after Sanjo as fast as I could so he wouldn't escape, but there was no sight of him. Did he already get away? But if he's not headed for the exit, he might still be lurking nearby. Following that hunch, I started running again. Eh? I felt something hard underneath my foot. By the time I realized it was too late. Time seemed to slow to a crawl for the next few moments. I wasn't going to die. Oh wait, I was going to die. Hearing an explosion, I braced myself for death, or so I thought. Just before the explosion, I felt something slam into me from behind. I fell to the ground some distance from where the blast had taken place. Before I could fully grasp what was happening, Okazaki! I cried out to the familiar figure who had fallen nearby. Okazaki, please! I sped over to check on him, but... I'm okay. I'm glad. Glad? What is there to be glad about here? I was in a delirious fog. His condition was obvious. There weren't wounds. These weren't wounds he'd recover from. But he smiled cheerfully like he always did. I failed.
本当はこんなところで
I really didn't want to end like this. Okazaki?
いいか君を守れた
Listen, I managed to protect you.
それは
That much is true, so stop it.
最後まで
I'm sorry I couldn't protect you to the very end, okay? Stop it. Don't speak anymore. Save your strength. I quickly called for an ambulance. I gave them our status and immediately hung up. Please don't speak.
ひどいな
That means this is my last chance to say anything.
最後なのにねお願いが
Hey, I have a favor to ask. What is it?
最後まで事件を追って
Pursue the X-Day cases until the very end.
諦めないでいけないって
Don't give up. Don't run away. Just face forward like you always do.
みんなにとって
Gross.
特別な人
You're special. To everyone. Yeah, I know. I absolutely won't give up, so don't worry. So you don't either. Oops.
よ
That's good.
これで一応果たせた
So I can say that I fulfilled it, right?
俺の
My wish. Thanks for granting it. He laughed. It was the happiest I'd ever seen him. I couldn't understand what he was thinking. Okazaki. When I said his name, his hands gripped mine tightly. But in the next instance, this can't be happening. It suddenly fell limp. He had only lost consciousness. It would be all right. He could still be saved. You'll be okay. The ambulance is almost here. They'll fix you up, so just take it easy. His eyes were closed and his face was lifeless. But when I touched his cheeks, they were warm. He'd be okay. Once you heal up, we'll laugh again and send each other text filled with emojis. We'll chat with each other. But that would be the last time I ever see that smile I loved. Ooh. Hey, it's an ending. I got an ending. I just got an ending. I just got an ending. Just don't have chapter selection. That's rude. Ooh, my album. Did I look at my album yet? That's a lot of not photos. Am I not even close to the end? Aw, man, look at this guy. Look at Sasasuke. I can't do it. Sasazuka. I can do this. I think he's the next on the list. Others. Dun 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 dun. All right, back in. Let's load back in and do the actual option. I assumed that was going to be a bad ending. I thought she would die though. Let's retreat. I might not be able to catch up to Sanjo. Even if I went after him alone, I couldn't leave Okazaki alone in his current condition. Let's fall back.
わかった。この分だと新宿園一帯に爆弾が仕掛けられているかもしれないし。
Okay, they might have set up more traps in this part of the garden. I called for an ambulance. Once I reported our status, I hung up right away. Let's tend to those wounds first. You're losing too much blood. I controlled my voice as much as I could to calm my nerves, and then I ripped my shirt off.
何してるの?
What are you doing? Like I said, first aid. This is all I have available. I was a little embarrassed, but in my underwear, my priority, what? But my goodness, hang on. Whew, I'm too much. I was a little embarrassed to be in my underwear, but property wasn't really an issue for me. Propriety. Okazaki, on the other hand, seemed to be unusually shocked. He had never seen a woman before. He must have lost too much blood. Is it too tight? Just tough it out.
平気。もっときつくてもいいくらい。でも。
It's okay. You can make it tighter. Just, I
君に手当てしてもらうなんて。
I feel bad that I'm getting first aid from you. Contrary to his words, Okazaki looked quite happy. It didn't sit right with me, so I felt I had to say something about it while I was treating him. Why are you so happy about this? Huh? This wound obviously hurts, and this was all my fault.
君をちゃんと守れたから。そのためなら、この傷だって嬉しいよ。
Because I managed to protect you properly, I'm grateful that I got injured in this way. The wrongfulness of the situation now far outweighed any gratitude or guilt I was feeling. Why do you have to go to such extremes? You could have gotten yourself killed trying to protect me back there, you know?
そうかもね。でも、君は気にしなくていいよ。
Maybe, but you don't have to worry about that.
俺の望みだから。
That's my wish. What? Once I finished tying my shirt into a makeshift bandage, I let go and watched Okazaki.
ありがとう。 処置はこれくらいでいいよ。早くここから脱出しよ
Thanks, this is good enough. We should hurry up and retreat. What do you
う。今
mean?
は喋ってる時間あまりないよ。
This is no time to
Sorry.
talk. But more importantly, alright, I only tore part of it. I can still wear it. My mind's still full of doubt. I put my shirt back on and buttoned it up. Anyways, we have to get out of here. He needs treatment soon. I stood up and then turned and offered my hand to Okazaki. Okazaki, can you walk? I'll lend you my shoulders for grab hold.
大丈夫だよ。
I'm okay, actually. Okazaki sighed.
ちょっといい？
Hey, how about this? Eh? He suddenly took hold of my shoulders and threw an arm around me.
よいしょっと。
Up we go. What? Suddenly, I was swept off
じゃあ
my
行くよ。
feet.
ちゃんと捕まっててね。
Here we go. Hold on tight. Okazaki. And then he started Naruto running. I shouted his name in surprise, but he had already started running with me in his arms. I was buffeted? Who did this? Buffet? By the wind of another nearby blast.
やっぱりあの辺にも。急いだ方が良さそう。
So they're over there too. We should hurry. Wait, Okazaki, put me down. Wow.
軽いね。ちゃんと食べてる？
That's such a lie, but that's sweet of you to say. You're really light. Have you been eating enough? Yes, no, forget about that. Please put me down. You'll open your wounds.
心配性だな。君だって少しやけどしたでしょ？
You worry too much about me. Didn't you get burned as well? Is she wearing... She's wearing a skirt. Okay, have I not seen her full body? When did she get all bloody? I guess maybe. She said there wasn't a scratch on her. She lied earlier. Also, her shirt doesn't look torn. That's not worth carrying me over. I can run on my
この方
own.
が早いよ。それに予想以上に量が多いみたいだから。
This way is faster. Besides, there's more of them than I thought. More of what?
ほら、暴れると危ないでしょ。うっかりすると俺の傷口も開いちゃうし。
See, it's dangerous to squirm too much. You might open my wounds again. After he said that, I couldn't offer any more resistance. I desperately clung onto Okazaki as he carried me so fast. Okazaki ran through the smoke at an incredible pace, despite being wounded and carrying someone else. Maybe this way is actually faster, but his wounds. Okazaki's body felt hot. He had probably been burned. His clothes were in tatters. My chest tightened when I realized
こっ
this.
ちは危なそう。よっと。
It's dangerous here too. Let's try this way. Somehow, Okazaki knew that there were more bombs in the area, so he decided to change directions and avoid that path. How do you know?
経験でなんとなくね。
Just experience. I don't think that's true. Experience? How can you be instinctual? Oh my goodness. How can that be instinctual?
大丈夫だよ。もう傷一つつけさせない
It's
から。
okay. I won't let them hurt you again. Okazaki!
その代わりおとなしくしがみついてて。君に怪我なんて絶対させたくないんだ。
I need you to hold on tight. I absolutely don't want to let you get hurt. Okay. Update. November update. Nice. We're on a new chapter. We did it. I don't know how many chapters there are, though. Side story, December 23rd, 9:35 a.m.
三条圭介の足取りは
Any leads on Kaisuke Sanjo?
まだつかめていません。新宿園付近の捜索を増員してい
Not
ます。
yet. We're intensifying the manhunt in Shinjuku Garden.
元交通機動隊だったか。身内に敵が多すぎる山だな。
He used to be in traffic ops. We've got way too many enemies on the inside.
森岡さん、苛立ったところ
I
で
feel like
ここ
you,
は
sir, are
進
the
展しませんよ。
baddest guy here. Watch, you're gonna be the leader of the X-Day crimes. I got so distracted. Morioka, your irritation isn't helping.
分かっている。だが、捕らえた実行犯は記憶を消され、アドニスの拠点も特定できずじまいだ。
I know, but even if we capture Adonis agents, their memories are wiped and we can't get a foothold.
X-Day は目前だぞ。このまま停滞しているわけにはいかない。
X-Day is right around the corner. We can't afford to be spinning our wheels
そんなと
now.
ころに申し訳ないのですが、少々気にかかる知らせがあります。
He gives me like the bad guy from Naruto vibes. I'm sorry about that, but I have some news you may find interesting.
彼女
What?
の監視も兼ねさせていた SP、岡崎 K についてですが、
It's about that SP, Kei Okazaki, the one who was watching her.
ここ最近になって虚偽の報告をしていると思われます。
I believe he's been falsifying his reports recently.
寝返ったということか。
Are you saying he's double crossed
アド
us?
ニスとの関与は不明ですが、彼女が何か知っているのは明らかです。
We don't know if he's connected to Adonis, but it's clear that he knows something about her we
お
don't.
そらく岡崎警部補は彼女のことをかばっているのではないかと。
Most likely, Assistant Inspector Okazaki is attempting to protect his
まあそっち
charge.
はいい。後で俺が出る。
Fine, then I'll check up on them later.
とにかく今は緊急事態だ。過去の事件を洗ってもキリがない。
Anyways, this is an emergency. We don't have time to just focus on the
総員、
past.
アジトの特定に全力を尽くせ。しらみつぶしでも何でも手段は選ぶな。
I want all resources on finding Adonis's HQ. We use whatever means necessary to root them out.
捕らえた実行犯たちの身辺調査に進展はないのか。
Also, are there any new developments from investigating the captured
家宅
suspects?
捜索でネットや携帯の履歴も文書のやり取りも全て洗いました。
We searched their home phones and internet records, but everything has been cleared out. We found nothing
菅
of
原から
note.
採取したマイクロチップが指示系統になっていたのは確実ですが、
It's certainly that Sugawara was receiving commands from her implanted microchip. When Rika Sugawara was examined after her arrest for arson incident on December 8th, this microchip was found near her neck. The chip was a sound receiving transmitter thought to have been implanted by Adonis.
発信元の調査については再犯でも太刀打ちできませんでした。
Cyber crimes have yet to be able to locate the source of the
怪しい
transmission.
宗教組織や反体制グループはあらかた洗いましたが、
We're shaking down known suspects, suspicious religious cults, and anti-government groups, but there are no indications any of them are connected to
2年
Adonis.
前に解体したアドニスの残党は突き止めた先から次々と不審し、
Ever since Adonis was dismantled 2 years ago, details of its remnants have been hazy. That's all we have to report.
本当に手詰まりだな。
So we've got nothing. Chatter, 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 chatter. There seems to be some kind of commotion.
警視
Chief?
そうか
What are you doing here,
今
sir?
後 X-Day 事件の葬式は私自らが取ることにした。
I will personally be taking command of the X-Day investigation from this
捜
point.
査本部には失望したよ。上からはいつまで混乱を引っ張るつもりだと
I'm
言われてしまった
disappointed in investigations. Command is wondering how long you're allowing this chaos to
今回
continue.
の件には私の威信がかかっている。
My own
これ以
dignity is
上
at
被害を
stake
広げれ
here.
ば
If
警
the
察の
damage
信用は
spreads any
地の
further,
底
the
まで
police
失墜
stand
す
to
るんだ
lose all public credibility.
まずは11月までに起こった X-Day 事件についてだが、
First, let me address all monthly X-Day cases up until
実行犯
November.
が捕まっていない事件は今すぐ容疑者を逮捕しろ。
Whichever of these crimes are unsolved, you are to arrest suspects immediately.
お待ちください。そんなことが簡単にできるのなら、捜査は行き詰まって
Wait a
いません
minute, sir. If it were that easy, the investigation wouldn't still be
報告は上げて
ongoing.
いるはずですが、捕らえた実行犯たちはアドニスによって記憶が消され、
I've included this in my reports, but every one of the captured perpetrators have had their memories erased by
そんな
Adonis.
ことはどうでもいい。
I don't care. He looks wild.
怪しい奴は何人もいるんだろう。この非常事態だ。
I'm sure you have some likely suspects. This is an emergency. There's no time to be concerned with nonsense like concrete evidence.
それは裏が取れていない人間を容疑者として逮捕しろということですか
So you want us to arrest anyone we haven't completely ruled out? Correct.
優秀な捜査一課の面々なら動機から可能性が高いものに当たりはつけているんだろう。
I'm sure the talented officers of Section 1 have narrowed down your searches to people of interest who had strong motives. I hear your suspect Okatada.
生徒の遺族が怪しいと聞いている。
I hear you suspect Okatada from May due to his grudge from his mistaken arrest as well as the bereaved of the student's suicide.
この理由を世間が納得すればそれでいいだろう。
It's fine as long as you feed the public a compelling reason for the arrest. Erased memories don't erase their guilt.
お言葉ですが、彼らには鉄壁のアリバイがあります。
But all the people have solid alibis for the crimes they're linked to. It's like they watch strangers on a train or something.
アリバイなど崩せばいい。
Then make them less solid. Do whatever you have to do. Just arrest them.
警視総監。
Chief.
対面をお考えなのは理解できますが。
I understand your reasoning, but you're asking us to undermine the
今
investigation.
更でっち上げのような形で犯人を検挙したところで、再びテロが起こるのは目に見えている。
Rounding the suspects under fabricated charges will result in arrests that won't stick and incite more terrorist acts.
今はアドニスの中枢に切り込み、解体に追い込むことが最優先です。
Our priorities right now is to root out Adonis' leadership and dismantle the group.
アドニスの中枢か。妙案があるのかね。
Adonis's leadership? Do you have any idea about them?
今、体制を整えている最中です。
We're currently determining their
そ
organization.
んな悠長なことを言ってる場合か。
Is now the time to be taking it so
X-Day 事
easy?
件が警察の手に負えないほどの狡猾な事件だということは、一般市民の目から見ても明らかだ。
In the eyes of the public, the X-Day crimes are being committed by people who are so terrible that even police can't touch
それ
them.
を防げなかったことで、もちろん警察は非難されるだろうが、それ以上にテロへの憎しみを強く
Of course, we're being blamed for the inability to prevent the attacks, but hatred of the terrorist is still stronger.
大規模なテロとなると、警察だけの問題ではなくなっているからな。
With a terrorist organization of this scale, this is no longer only the police's
なら
problem.
ば、テロを未然に防ぐことに注力するよりも、一人でも多くの犯人を検挙した方が、国民の
Thus,
信
rather
頼
than
や
trying to
安
prevent
心を勝ち取る
terrorism,
ことができる。
capturing any criminals we can should help restore the faith to the public.
テロ
I
を未然に防
disagree.
ぐことが最優先です。
The priority is to
人命がかか
stop
っているんです。
terrorism. The lives of citizens are at stake.
それでまた失敗したらどうする？
And what if you fell again?
警察の
We
威
will
信は
let the
落ちる
credibility of
と
the
ころまで
police
落ちるが
fall into ruin.
過去の事件の捜査は
Ruin!
続けま
Of
す。
course, we'll investigate the past incidents,
テロ
but
対策が
stopping
最優
terrorism
先です。
is our top
これを譲ることは
priority.
できません。
We won't compromise on that.
戦力を分散させるような無駄なことは許可できんの。
Oh, goodness, I keep doing that by accident. Sorry, my apologies. I just wanted to screenshot this guy. I can't allow to futilely divide your forces to accomplish lesser objectivities. Futile?
失礼を承知で申し上げますが、総監は対面に気を取られ、警察の
I
本
do
質を見
like his
失っ
voice.
てお
Do
ら
I
れる。
know this voice actor? Forgive my bluntness, Chief, but you're prioritizing honor and face over the lives of the people, and that's not the police's
な
mission.
んだと？
What did you say?
まあまあ、お二人とも喧嘩するのは
Calm
結
down,
構
you
ですね。
two. You may have a
捜査会議
personal
に進まないのは困ります
dispute, but this meeting needs to move
こちらは
on.
こちらで進めますので、外
We'll
でやってい
keep
ただけませ
working
ん
in
か。
here, so why don't you two come to terms outside?
峯岸、
Minegishi.
少し頭を冷やしてきてください。
Just cool off for a minute.
悪い。
なんだね？
Sorry.
管理官程度の分際で
Just
失礼の。
who do you think you are? Pretty insolent for a mere
本日の
commissioner.
捜査会議はこれまで。あとは個別に指示を出します。
That's it for today's meeting. Individual orders will be given out afterwards.
大変失礼しました。
I apologize for my rudeness, sir. Let's continue this elsewhere.
ああ、森岡さん。その前に少しいいですか？
Morirokia. Before that, one thing.
なんだ
What?
ちょうど新しい参考人が来ました。彼に話を聞いてみようと思いまして、先ほどの彼女の件で。
Someone new will be joining us. I think we should have a talk with him about her.
ね、
Yoshinari!
なんで呼ばれたんすかね。
Why am I here?
ええ、お待たせしました。少しお話を聞かせてもらえますか？
Sorry to keep you waiting. Could I ask you a few questions? Back to life. Back to December 23rd to 20 p.m.
岡崎さん困ります。まだ寝ててくださいって何度言ったら。
Stop, Mr. Okazaki. How many times have I told you to sleep?
大丈夫ですってば。もう痛くないし、寝てなくても治りますよ。
I'll be fine, I said. It doesn't hurt and I'll heal fine without sleep. A night had passed since the Shinjuku Garden event. I submitted a general incident report and got some time off, so I visited the hospital. When I arrived, I heard voices arguing from the hospital room. Don't tell me.
上司からもちゃんと許可もらいました。退院は自分の意思でできるものでしょ？
I have permission from my superiors and I'd personally like to leave too.
で
But, excuse me, may I come in? I could assume what they were arguing about, so I interrupted. Lee! Okazaki's face lit up like a blooming flower when he saw me. I was relieved that he was in good spirits, but I could only return a vague
もう大丈夫な
smile.
の？今日は休み。
Are you okay? Did you get the day off work? I only had some minor burns, but they asked me to rest for
た
now.
くさん頑張ったんだし、たまには休んだ方がいいよ。
Well, you worked really hard, so you should take a
い
break.
つも言ってるでしょ。ね、無理はしちゃダメ。
Don't I always tell you not to push yourself too hard? That's my line.
岡
Huh?
崎さんのお知り合いですか？
Are you an acquaintance of Mr. Okazaki? Yes.
もう退院するって聞かないんです。昨日の今日ですよ。説得してくれませんか？勝手に服まで着替えて。
I told him he can't leave, but he won't listen. He was just wounded yesterday. Can you tell him? He even got changed on his own.
君からも説得してよ。俺が丈夫なのは知ってるでしょ。
Explain to the nurse that I'm perfectly fine. You know that, don't you? The conversation went as I expected, and I returned their questions with silence. Then I turned to the nurse. I'm sorry, but could we have some privacy,
わか
please?
りました。逃げないように見張っててくださいね。何かあったら呼んでください。
Very well. Please watch over him so that he doesn't run away and call me if you need anything. Thank you. I watched her go and then turned my attention to Okazaki.
看護師さんって強いよね。
It's one strong
今
nurse.
朝も脱走しようとしたらさ、すごい力で引き止められちゃって。
When I tried to leave this morning, she forcibly dragged me back in here. I see. Here, Okazaki, these are for you.
綺麗な花。ありがとう。
Wow, pretty flowers,
あ、
thanks.
でも、もう退院しちゃうから、退院祝いってことで家に飾ろうかな。
Oh, but I'm about to leave, so I guess I'll take them home for decoration.
前は俺が君に花を送ったのに、お返しされちゃったね。
I gave you flowers before, but now I'm getting them back.
お揃いみたいで嬉しいな。
Now we match. I just stared silently at Okazaki as he happily chuckled.
どうしたの？
Lee, what's
なんだ
wrong?
か
Are you in a bad mood? No, I wasn't angry. I was relieved to see him so cheerful. It was like as if the events of yesterday had never happened. But he's pushing himself too hard. His smile and skin tone were worse than normal. Even on painkillers, he still had to be in pain. Of course, it hurts. He was wounded so badly. Yet he was smiling as he always did. Until yesterday, I might have thought that Okazaki was just being himself, but now it all felt so wrong to me. Have a seat, Okazaki. We need to talk.
わかった。
Okay. Okazaki tilted his head curiously and sat down on the bed. He beckoned me over and I sat next to him. There aren't any other patients here, I think. Then I could speak calmly. I took a deep breath. Thank you so much for yesterday.
どうしたの改まっ
What's up? And I'm really sorry that you got hurt because of me. I dipped my head apologetically and heard him reply in a weary
謝
tone.
らないでよ。君は何も悪くないんだから。これは俺がちょっとミスっただけ。
Don't apologize. You did nothing wrong. I just made a small mistake. I
君の位置
trusted
を見
you.
誤って三条の小順内に入れちゃったのは俺だし。
I misjudged your position and let you move into Sanjo's angle of attack.
何か仕掛けられてる可能性も考えてたのに、トラップや爆発物への警戒が足りなかった。
I'd considered the things he might try, but I didn't think about traps or explosions.
やっぱり現場を離れてると鈍るんだ。
I guess I'm getting rusty. Even as he berated himself, there was something happy about his voice. It was heart-rendering.
君に大きな怪我がなくてよかったよ。君をちゃんと守れて本当によかった。
I'm glad that you weren't hurt too badly. I'm glad I was able to protect you.
三条には逃げられちゃったけど、手がかりはまだあるし。
Sanjo got away, but we still have his trail, so we'll just have to try harder. Before that, I have something to ask you. Yeah? Why are you going so far for my sake? Huh? Why are you literally putting your life on the line to protect me?
何言ってるの？俺は SP だよ。
What do you mean I'm SP?
守ると決めた人を命がけで守るのは当たり前。
It's normal for me to risk my life to protect someone I've
君
decided to
からした
protect.
ら変かもしれないけど、SP っていうのはみんなそうなんだ。
It might seem weird to you, but everyone in the SP is exactly the same. Is that true? It's true that an SP officer risks his life to protect his principal. That's not what's strange to me. But you seem to overemphasize the risking your life part on the job over the part where you protect others, Okazaki. I'll ask you one more time. Why are you risking your life for
昨日
me?
も同じこと聞かれたね。
You asked me the same thing yesterday. Yes, back then. Blah, 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 blah,
そうかも
blah.
ね。
You don't need to worry. That's my wish to die. That's what you said. What did you mean?
どういう意味って？
I
そ
meant
のままだよ。
exactly what I said. Exactly?
そんなに気に病まないでよ。
Don't worry so much about it. He laughed bitterly, perhaps noticing my growing
俺はこ
suspicion.
うして元気だし、情報も得られたし、昨日の件での収穫はたくさんある。
I'm full of life and we have new intel. Yesterday was really productive.
これまで通り、一緒に事件を追ってこ。
So why don't we keep at this?
もう失敗したり
Like
し
we've
ない
been
から
doing. I won't fail you again. Don't try to hide it. You won't be able to work like you could before. Please answer me honestly. I don't think I can work with you anymore if I don't know the whole truth. My mind was a swirling miasm of doubt and uncertainty. If I couldn't clear them up, then I couldn't stay by his side the way I did before.
分かったよ。
Okay, so I watched him sigh in resignation. I quietly took a deep breath. Okazaki, I don't want to ask. Okazaki, do you really not care if you die while protecting me? I bluntly stated my question, and I wanted to cover my ears so I couldn't hear his reply.
そうだよ。
That's right. He calmly affirmed my worst fears.
俺はね、君を守って死にたいんだ。
You see, I want to die while protecting you. His smile didn't crack. It was as gentle as ever. He said the words that I least wanted to hear. What are you talking about?
SP の。お、
You want to die,
死に
right?
場所を求める目をしてる。
Your eyes say you're searching for a place to die. I recalled Sanjo's words. I hadn't understood what he meant back then, but now I made the connection. What if he... Okazaki, do you want to die?
犬死にするつもりはないよ。 無意味な死に価値なんてないから。
I don't want to die in vain. There's no value in a meaningless
で
death.
も意味のある死を迎えたいとは思ってる。
I just want to meet an end that has meaning. I didn't want to understand. He wasn't saying what he was prepared to risk his life to protect me. He wasn't saying that he was preparing to risk his life to protect me. He was protecting me because he wanted to die. That's why you protected me. You knew Adonis was targeting me and that I was chasing them, so I'd be in danger. I was someone worth protecting in his eyes. In other words, someone that would be in dangerous situations. He was protecting someone who was high risk in order to die. An honorable death just for that?
違うよ。俺は名誉が欲しいんじゃない。
I don't
君だ
want
から守りたいんだ。
honor or glory. I want to die by protecting you. Because I'm a VIP?
それだけじゃない。君はどんな困難からも逃げないって言った。途中でくじけたりしない人。
Not just that. You
だから
said
いいん
you'd
だ。
never run away from a challenge. You won't give up midway. That's what's important. He may have been complimenting me, but it didn't resonate the way at all. Before he had said,
何があっても
no matter what happens, no matter
何
what
を
the
犠
cost,
牲に
my
して
job
も
is to protect someone
自分にも
special.
役割がある。
My life will gain
誰
meaning
かを
because
守
I've
れる。
protected someone else. That was his, oh, how dare you, his raison d'etre. I can't. Lee, this entire time I'd misread him. His vacant eyes weren't merely peaceful, they were gloomy, longing for death. That doesn't make me happy. Huh? If that's why you're protecting me, then I don't appreciate that at all. I was shouting at him. My eyes were downcast, fists clenched in my lap. How could I ever be happy if I caused her death? I'd be tortured by guilt and sorrow.
悲しませちゃうのは俺だって嫌だよ。
I don't want to make you sad
昨日
either.
みたいな状況で死ぬつもりもない。ちゃんと最後まで君を守っ
I
て。
don't plan on going down like I did yesterday. I plan on protecting you until the end. What end? If I have to lose you to solve these crimes, then what's the point? Even if this is something you wish for, what about my feelings?
どうでもよくないよ。でもそれが俺の願いだから。
That's not good either, but this is my wish.
ごめんね。君が言いたいこともわかるんだ。
I'm sorry, I know what
俺
you're
が
trying
死ん
to
で
say.
君が泣くのは嫌だし、悲しい顔はさせたくないって思ってる。
I don't want to die and make you cry, and I don't want you to be
でも
sad.
大丈夫。きっとすぐに忘れられるから。
But everything will be okay. You'll forget about me soon enough.
君が悲しんでくれたら、俺はそれだけでいい。十分報われる。
If this ends with me being sad, that's enough for me. It'll have been worth dying for, so I got so distraught. How could
君
you?
は強いから大丈夫だよ。俺なんかいなくても。
You're strong, so you'll be fine. You can face the future without me. So you really don't care about what I think about this, do you? It was like all this time together was crumbling. I was glad he offered to protect me despite this. He had been kind to me and made me feel safe. I liked Okazaki's smile. When my collar had been exposed, I'd felt depressed for betraying his trust, his seriousness towards his work, his bluntness, his kindness, and his playfulness. When we were together, again, I felt like the two of us were growing closer. I want to be by his side. I want to be with him forever, but he's special to me. And yet, all this time, he had just been using me to fulfill his wish to die. I don't want someone like you protecting me. I thought that I didn't mind being used, but now I couldn't take it anymore.
ちょっと待って。大げさに考えすぎだよ。
Wait, don't overreact. That's not what I meant. I don't want to be protected by someone who's only living so they can die.
守る人間がいなきゃ、君が危険なのは事実でしょ。
You'll really be in danger without someone to protect you.
俺を利用してでも、君は生きなきゃダメなんじゃないの？
Can't you just take advantage of my service to keep yourself alive?
俺は
Still,
積極的に危険を呼び寄せたいわけじゃない。一緒にいる君が危なくなるし、 守れなくなるしね。
I'm not actively seeking out danger. It's tough protecting you in
目
your
的のため
situation.
に必死で頑張って、その結果俺が死ぬ可能性なんて今までだってあったはずだよ。
You tried desperately to reach your goals, and I've risked death several times now because of the way you do things.
約束したよね。
I made you a promise. Girl, are you gonna stand down?
何があっても
No matter what happens, you won't run. But I'll run from
何があっても
you.
君を守るよ。
Don't run away from
何を
me.
犠牲にしても
Don't give up on
君が
your
本当に願う
dreams.
ことのために諦めないで。
Stand
そんな
proud.
君だから
I choose to
俺は
protect
選ん
you.
だんだ。約束
Ugh, my
し
knee.
てくれる？
So can you promise me that? Bum bum
俺
bum
の気
bum.
持ちがどうあれ、君の目的は変わらないよね。
Whatever my feelings, it's not as if your goal has
君
changed,
がやらな
right?
きゃならないことは何も変わらないでしょ。
Nothing that you need to do is even the slightest bit different. You had warned me countless times not to forget my goal, not to turn away from reality, to carry on my ultimate goal of protecting Shinjuku no matter what. Just yesterday, I agreed with him. But now, no means no. No means no. Do I die instantly? Because that's funnier. No means no. I don't want to achieve my goal by sacrificing you. I see. I'm going to keep pursuing the case, but I don't need your protection. I can ask someone else if I need protection, so just leave me alone. I stood up and headed for the door without looking at him. I didn't hear him try to stop me. I can't. I don't want to cry. I dammed off the flood of emotions. It had hurt terribly, like I was rejecting all the kindness he had ever shown me when I realized he didn't even hold a fragment of me in his heart. I felt soaked with sadness and anger. December 24th, 6:39 a.m.
あ、先輩、いつもの白
Hey,
猫ちゃん。
sir.
今日は機嫌良さそうっすよ。
It's that white cat. It's in a good mood today.
今ならモフモフできそうじゃないですか。触りたがってましたよね、先輩。
Do you want to pet it today? It looks like it wants to touch you, sir. Sigh.
いやー、それにしても、先輩でもドジ踏むことあるんですね。その
Wow.
大怪我なのに即日退
So
院。
even you make gigantic blunders too, sir? Those wounds, and you came to work the next
普通の人な
day.
ら死んでる怪我でもピンピンしてるところは先輩らしいけど。
It's definitely like you to be running around with wounds that would kill an ordinary
うっかり
man.
爆発に巻き込まれるとか、さすがに笑っちゃいましたよ。
But when I heard you got caught in an explosion, I couldn't help but laugh.
もう先輩ってば、寝ながら警護してたんすか？
Sir, were you asleep while protecting her? Sigh.
もう暗いっすよ。
Dang it, sir, you're gloomy. Gloomy.
俺がここまで行ってるのにヘッドロックかまさないなんてどうしたんすか？
Why haven't you put me in a headlock yet? What's wrong with you? Yeah, I'm not feeling up to it.
前みたいに深刻じゃなさそうだけど。なんでそんな落ち込んでるんですか？
You don't look as messed up as you did before, so why are you so down? She...
星野さん？
Miss Hoshino?
嫌われちゃった。
She's mad at me.
え？ああ、もしかして振られたんすか？
Huh? Don't tell me she dumped you. Yeah.
なんて先輩に限ってそれはな。先輩振られたんですか？てか好きだったんですか？いつの間に？
Just kidding. Not that you need... What? You actually got dumped, sir? Wait, when did you start liking her? Hmm?
あ
Oh,
そういう意味じゃなくて。
wasn't like
いや
that.
いやいや、皆まで言わなくていいっす。そりゃ落ち込みますよね。うんうん。
You don't need to explain. Anyone would obviously be depressed. Yes, sir.
吉成くん？
Yoshinari?
よし、今日は飲みに行きましょう先輩。いくらでも付き合いますから。
Let's go drinking today. I got your back,
そ
sir.
れは嬉しいけど、俺は彼女に会いに行かなきゃ。
I'm glad to hear it, but have you seen her? Eh?
振られたのに食い下がるんですか？
You're going to cling to her after she dumped you?
そりゃまたガッツのある。ああ、でも先輩しつっこいからな。
Wow, that does take some guts, but you're really stubborn,
何か
right?
言った？
What did you say?
いっただだだだだ、つねらないでくれやい。
Please don't pinch
ごめん
me.
手が勝手に。
Sorry, it was just a reflex.
もう。
Man,
元気はあるんじゃないですか。
you can always muster the emotions to torment me.
どう
Sigh.
したらいいかな？
Moving my legs so my camera might be shaking. Sorry. All right. What should I do, Yoshinari?
俺に聞かれても。嫌われたって彼女に何かしたんですか？
You're asking me, did you do something to make her angry?
っていうか、
More like I said something.
先輩デリケートじゃないからな。
You've just got no sensitivity,
いくら
sir.
人の良さそうな顔したって、女の子にはやっていいこととやっちゃいけないことってありますよ。
No matter how nice you look, there's just some things that you cannot do to a woman without upsetting her, you know?
女の子とか関係ないと思うけど。
This isn't really something specific to
いやい
women.
や、女心ってのは難しいんです。荒波のように怒り狂ったと思え
I'm
ば。
trying to fix my little leggy stool so it doesn't hit. So there's like a bar under my desk. That's why my screen shaking right now. I'm trying to stretch my legs because they hurt. All right. Nope. A woman's heart is a complex thing. Oh dear. I hit a
吉
button.
成君、
I
俺
wasn't
は真面目な話をしてるんだよ。
Nope, a woman's heart is a complex thing. Just when you think it's going like a raging storm, it gets all soft and fluffy like cotton candy.
女心ってのは難しいんです。荒波のように怒り狂ったと思えば。
Yoshinari, I'm being
いや、
serious.
俺も真面目に言ってますよ。
But so am
感
I.
情の移り変わりか。
Emotions,
何か
emotional
彼女の
change,
中
huh?
で
I
変わ
wonder
っ
what
た。
changed
彼
inside
女は
her.
優しい子だから。人の精神に敏
She's a
感なの
kind
は
girl, so I know she cares about the lives of others.
あまり言いたくなかったんだ
That's
けど。
why I really didn't want to
あ
tell
んな
her.
に怒るとは思わなかったんだよね。
I didn't expect her to get so
前
angry.
にも似たようなこと言ったんだけどな。その時はすんなり納得してく
He
れた
said
のに。
something similar to her before, but she accepted it back
何言ったん
then.
ですか？
What did you say?
内緒。
That's a secret?
そこ内緒にされたら相談に乗れませんけど。
I can't really
まあ
help you
つまり
then.
仲直りしたいってことっすよね。
Anyway, you want to make up with her, right?
なんとか機嫌直してほしい。彼女が怒るのもわからなくはないんだけどさ。
Yeah, I want her to feel better. I don't know why she's angry though.
ベタにプレゼント。でもご機嫌取りに見られるかな。
Typically, a gift's a good idea, but that might make you look
っていうか、
desperate.
ダメなこと言っちゃったんなら誠実に謝ればいいんじゃないですか？
Besides, if you said something wrong, shouldn't you give her a sincere
でもさ、
apology?
俺が悪いわけでもないと思う。
But I really don't think I did anything wrong.
反省なしっすか？
No remorse, huh?
悲しませちゃったのは嫌だなとか、怒らせちゃったから謝りたいなとか。
I didn't
そういうの
want
は
to make her
思うけ
feel
ど。
sad, and I do actually want to apologize for her making her
先
angry.
輩頑固だから。
You're stubborn,
絶対
sir.
に自分変えませんもん。
You just refuse to change. That's
俺の
right.
考えは変わらないんだ。そこは分かってもらわないといけないよね。
That's right. My thoughts won't change. You need to
彼女
understand
な
that.
ら悪いと思ったとこを謝って、ちゃんと誤解が解ければ許してくれる気がしますけどね。
Just apologize for giving her the wrong idea. If you clear up the misunderstanding, I'm sure she'll forgive you.
誤解か。
Misunderstanding. But I was just being
あれは
honest.
ただの冗談だよって言えばいいのかもしれないけど、あんまり気が向かないんだよね。
It's possible that I could pass everything off as a joke, but I don't really feel like it.
珍しいっすね。
That's unusual. Huh?
先輩ってごまかすの得意だし、嘘つくのもそんな抵抗ないタイプですもん。広い意味で嘘じゃなければいいみたいな。
You're good at misleading people. You don't shy away from lying. If it isn't false in a general sense, that is.
別に嘘は言ってない。まあ違う意味にも取れるけど、みたいな。
Like I'm not lying to you, you just misconstrued it, right?
そうそう。って自分で言うのどうかと思いますけど。
Yeah, how about something like that?
今回はなんでそういうのできないんですか？
Why can't you resort to that tactic in this situation?
なんで
I wonder why.
俺彼女に嘘つきたくない
I guess I don't want to lie to her.
先輩、それが恋っすよ。
Sir, that's love.
恋
Love?
残虐非道な先輩でも好きな人にだけは偽りたくない。わかります。
My cruel and vicious Okazaki doesn't want to lie to the one he loves. I totally get it.
うーん
いやいだから逃げられないでくらいってば。
Please don't pitch me.
ほんとあんなに怒るなんて
To think she'd get that
せっ
angry.
かく見つけたのにこんな結果で離れるのは嫌だし
Thought I finally found her. I don't want to part like
彼女み
this.
たいな理想の人なかなか見つからない強くて諦めが悪
I
くて
don't find people this perfect every day. Strong, tenacious, unwilling to back down from her goals.
俺は
The big
そうい
three.
う彼女だからよかったのに
I thought it was fine because she was like that.
過去形？さっきまで振られても諦めないって感じだったのに、もう弱気になってるんですか？
Past tense. Earlier you said you didn't want to give up after being dumped, but now you're belling out.
諦めないよただ
I'm not giving up.
ちょっとがっかりだな
I'm just disappointed.
俺を犠牲にするのが嫌で守られるのを拒もうとするのは
To be unwilling to sacrifice me, going as far as to completely reject my
俺が選ん
protection.
だ彼女らしくない何があっても逃げないって
This
言った
isn't like the woman I chose. He said she wouldn't run away no matter what. Wait, but I can ask someone else if I need protection.
それって他の人なら犠牲にしてもいいってこと
Then that means she's fine sacrificing someone else.
彼女の考えが変わったわけじゃないのか
Maybe it's not that she changed her way of
事件
thinking,
を追うとも言ってた
then said she'd still pursue X-Day. She hasn't given up yet.
俺
But
じ
she
ゃ
doesn't
ダメ
want
まあいいや
me. Well, whatever.
何自己完結してんで
What
す
did you
か？
just decide?
ダメだったらまた探せばいいんだしとりあえず謝りに行ってみるよ
If I'm no good for her, she can find someone else. However, I'm still going to apologize.
なんかダメな結果が見えるけど、まあ頑張って生きてください。
Okay, I don't see this turning out well. Good luck, man.
じゃあここちょっと頼むね
Yeah, cover for me for a bit.
はーい、了解っす。
Ah, look at his eyes. He's got stars in his eyes. Okay, you got it, sir. Hey. December 24th, 7:25 a.m. Oh, that reminds me, I was calling work earlier today and then I forgot what time it was and no one was there because no one was there. And I realized after. Anyways, no one should be awake this early. Sigh. Yesterday I'd gone to visit a sick friend, but I ended up cutting ties with him instead. I kept sighing as I absent-mindedly prepared breakfast. My family said that I'd turn to someone else for protection, but as a police officer, it was my duty to protect others. Just because I had the collar didn't give me the right to depend on others for help. I had depended on Okazaki. I didn't know how I could help. I didn't know when I'd be killed. I felt anxious and pathetic. Maybe I had been too passive for too long. What should I do now?
おい
Hey, we managed to stop one attack, but the situation hasn't improved at all, and Sancho got away. I felt as if I'd suddenly lost my bearings and sighed heavily a
お
few
い聞い
times.
てんのかよ
Hey, are you listening? Lee! Huh? Kazuki? Look at my bro. Look at this boy. This little musical boy. I jumped at the loud voice and turned to see an irritated Kazuki. Sorry, breakfast is almost ready.
朝飯ってその消し済みになってるやつ
What breakfast? You mean all that burnt stuff? What? I'd set bacon to fry in a pan while I began making a salad, and now dark smoke was rising from the pan. How could I make such a basic mistake?
俺どうせすぐ出かけるしコンビニで買ってく
I'll go to the konbini, is what he just said. Wait, I'll make it
こん
again.
な状態で料理とか
無理だろ。
You can't cook like that, can you?
腹壊したくね
I don't want to get sick eating something bad. Sorry. Kazuki's scolding just further deepened my depression. Today I had to get it together. I really focused on my
え。
job.
今日も仕事行くの
Are you going to work today? Of course.
一昨日怪我したばっかだろ。今日も休めばいいじゃん。
He needs like a lip ring. I'm sorry. You got hurt the day before yesterday, didn't you? Take the day off. I can't. Besides, it was just a few burns.
下っ端のお前一人が休んだとこで大した影響なんかねえだろ。
It's not a big deal for the police if an underling like you takes the day off. Besides, you look
警察
sick.
官だからってわざわざ危ないことに首突っ込む必要はあるの
He cares about me, but he's saying it in such a bad way that it sounds mean. Do you have to throw yourself into danger just because you're a cop? While his attitude was harsh, I could feel genuine concern. I was happy, but something felt different. We ate together every morning, but Kazuki never really said anything to me unprompted while we ate. Kazuki, I looked intently at him. Is he scared? Is my boy scared? I just figured it out. Sorry, you must be worried too.
はあ何いきなり
Huh? What now? With the way Shinjuku is right now, you can't go to school, and now you're feeling like your own family is in danger. I'm sure you feel uneasy, but I'm always scolding you, and I never really thought about how you must be feeling.
今更だろ
Now you decided to care? Yeah, you're right. It really is too little, too late, but now I want to make things right now. I don't want to expose you to danger at the same time. I still want to respect your wishes. You've been going out for fun since school is out, but I don't think you're doing anything bad. Is there something that you want to do?
俺は
Look at it. His eyes just got so soft. How cute. Kazuki shut his mouth, but I waited for him to continue without saying anything. I haven't provided Kazuki a future where he can live in peace. I'd just been pressuring him to live my way. Shinjuku wasn't normal. Day after day, there was heinous crimes and nobody knew who the next victim would be. There was no guarantee that Kazuki and I would live to see the next morning. Adonis's X-Days would arrive on January 1st. That day was almost upon us.
俺は明日何が起こるかなんて
I don't think anybody knows what happened yesterday. He murmured, his response with uncertainty in his voice, his
来
tone
年になった
quivering.
ら生きてるかもわかんないし新宿が元に戻るとも思ってね
I don't know if I'll be alive next year, and I don't think Shinjuku will ever return to normal.
だからやりたいようにやりたい俺が好きだと思う
Gotta give credit. My brother is got like the deepest voice for like an 18-year-old.
後悔するから
But I want to live how I want. I want to do the things I want to do. If I don't, I'll regret
お
it.
前の言う通り不安なのかもな
Like you said, yeah, I feel
閉
worried.
じこもってれば安全なんて保証ねえし
Staying at home doesn't guarantee I'll be safe, and my friends, yeah.
最近秋人と連絡取れないんだ家のことで忙しいって言ってたけど
Lately, I haven't been able to reach Akito, and he said that he was busy with something at home,
も
but
しかしたらちょっと前ま
that's
で
your
普通に
hint,
普通じゃな
Akito.
くなる日が来んのかな
He did the traffic lights. I'm helping you. What if something happened to him that made his normal way of life not so normal
そういう
anymore?
の本当は考えたくなくて
Felt like you just said that in my actual
好
ear.
きなことに没頭したいってのは
I don't really want to consider it.
なんか
I wanted to bury
Look at
myself in
me.
the things I like, but I don't know how to say it. I get it. But just promise me this. When you go out, tell me where you're going, and don't walk the streets late at night.
結局お説教かよ
So in the end, this was a lecture. No, it's so that you can keep doing the things you want to do. I'm your big sister, but I'm pathetic. I don't have the power to make the world safe for you right now. But what I can do is try to make it so that you and everyone else can live a little safer. But what's the point in trying to work if I'm worried about you all the time? I'm not asking you not to go outside. Just tell me when you do, please. I didn't know if he really accepted it, but Kazuki responded with a slight nod.
じゃあ行ってくる。
I'm going out then. Wait, where are you going?
東口にあるスタジオ。
Studio at the east entrance. A studio?
バンドやってるから、俺。
I
それの練習とレコーディング。
play in a band. We're going to practice and record. I was surprised that he told me, but the details were even more unexpected. I knew that Kazuki liked music by his shirt and the buttons and the fact that there was a person that I got murdered by one of his fans by when I followed him because I was suspicious, was a singer. I knew that Kazuki liked music, but not long ago, he had even played the guitar at home. I scolded him for playing too loud and possibly annoying the neighbors. So he was that serious
帰る
about
時
it.
間分かったら連絡する。
I'll let you know when I'm coming home. With that, he left the living room. I felt slightly vexed, but I turned and called out to him from behind. Good luck. Let's talk about it when you come home. Kazuki didn't answer. I thought he seemed more relaxed as he walked away. I have to get ready. I'd given up on breakfast today. I packed up my rice porridge I'd made earlier and tidied up the kitchen. Then my phone rang from the table. I casually checked the screen and I was startled to see the sender. Morning, how are your burns? Okazaki. Until recently, we had texted each other like this daily, but now I didn't know how to feel about responding to him. The way he said it must mean that he's still concerned about me, but maybe this was just another way that he was trying to use me. I didn't want to believe it could be true, but my chest hurt. I got released from the hospital. Can we meet today? I had hesitated to send a reply, and in the interim, another text arrived. He forced his way out, probably. I looked at my screen for a while and then put my phone away without replying. I have to go to work. I slowly got up to change into my uniform. Look at me. Look at my gorgeous necklace. There's only a week until X-Day. What I needed to do hadn't changed, whether or not I had Okazaki with me. I had to reduce the number of victims and do everything I could to expose Adonis and remove this collar. I let out several sighs. Once I changed and got ready, I headed for the door, purse in hand. And then the door rang, and so I hid in the bathroom. As I was about to leave, I heard the intercom. I had a really bad feeling about this.
俺だけど、
Yes, it's me,
メ
Okazaki.
ール見てくれたかな。返信がなかったから。
I hope you saw my text. You didn't answer,
あ
so
と君のことだから、今日も出勤するんじゃないかと思って。
I figured you'd be
今日ま
going
で
into
俺
work
が送る
today.
よ。
I'll walk you to the station. No, thank you.
まだ怒ってる？
Are you still mad? I'm not angry.
嘘だ。声が怒ってるよ。
You're lying. I can hear the anger in your voice.
俺が
I'm sad
あんなこと言ったから。
because I said those things.
変な意味で言っ
Yes.
たつもりないんだ。
I didn't mean it in a weird way.
命をかけても君を守りたいって思ってるだけで。
Just thought I'd protect you even if I had to risk my life. I'm sorry. I'm fine. Please leave.
わかった。ごめんね。困らせて。
Sorry to bother you. I'll come back later. He's coming again? He apologized, but he didn't seem like he was giving up at all. Why me? Because I might be of value, because I would probably be drawn into danger. I understood that. He doesn't have to be that obstinate. I'm sure there are many people like me. I hurt myself the more I thought about it. Okazaki should be gone by now. I'm going to work. December 24th, 8:40 a.m.
星野、
Hoshino, are you okay now? Yes, thank you for worrying. Mochida, about Sanjo? Yeah.
お前の情報から本部が動いてな。例の歌舞伎町のビルをガサ入れしたが、もぬけの殻だったそうだ。
HQ acted on the intel you gave them. They conducted a resident search of the building in Kabukicho, but it was completely empty. Residence search. When the police need to search a private home for clues, they'll perform a residence search. This is usually done by the public prosecutor as well as the judicial police. I see.
現行犯なのは事実だからな。指名手配がかけられてはいるが。
He's definitely the most recent perpetrator. He's wanted for questioning, but he never had a fixed address to begin with, so it'll be hard to track him down. He was a potential leadership figure within Adonis, so letting him slip from our grasp had cost us dearly. Worst of all, even if the operation wasn't approved, if I'd notified HQ in advance, they could have set up a perimeter around the scene. I can't mislead Investigation HQ anymore. Originally, I thought to explain everything about Sanjo to HQ, explaining that he had began with a need to investigate the caller. Although there had been no victims in the bombing of Shinjuku Garden, Morioka grilled me pretty hard at the scene.
そんな落ち込むな。ほら、
Mochida?
どうも仕事が盛りだくさんだぞ。
Don't look so down. There's a lot of work to do today. Yeah. I distractedly did my work, and before I knew it, it was time for lunch. I quickly finished my lunch and looked for a place where there weren't many people. I have to think about what to do next. Actually, we were close to a stalemate. Several suspects had been arrested for this month's incident, but all of them had their memories erased. They couldn't tell us anything about Adonis. Right now, the only clue left is my caller. Hey, you're listening now, aren't you? There was no answer, but there had to be someone on the other side. The X-Day crimes are substitute murders, events orchestrated to avenge people who's been wronged in the past. I'm sure that some of the perpetrators have met you and don't disagree with your line of reasoning. The police and the law didn't protect them, so they could do it themselves. You swayed them with the emotional argument. What comes next? The perpetrators are in custody. No matter how many pawns you have, you'll run out eventually. Besides, the families of the people you've killed and the victims caught in the damage are sure to feel as vengeful as you do. You'll be their target next. Do you intend to pursue something that pointless? Then nobody will understand what Adonis's justice mean. Japan will never be reborn. Don't you understand that? I didn't expect a reply, but I talked to the caller to help me sort through my own thoughts.
当然理解しています。
Of course, we understand that.
あなたの言う通り、現状のままでは我々の意思を国民に納得していただくのは難しいでしょう。
As you say, it will be difficult for the citizens to understand our will given the current circumstances.
国の再生は可能です。
But the rebirth of the nation is possible. What do you mean?
復讐心が復讐心を生む。ならば、どうすれば真の再生が
Vengeance spurs more vengeance. Thus, it is simple to create a world in which sorrow is reduced to zero and a true rebirth can occur.
それらを生み出す悪意を全て消し去ればいい。
Malice! He said malice! We merely need to erase the malice which births such feelings.
人間が悪意を持つのは欲望があるからです。自我、保身、顕示欲、優劣。それらを全て消せばいい。
Humans develop malice because they have desire, ego, self-preservation, superiority, and inferiority. We just need to erase it all. That means they'll erase humanity itself?
とはいえ、そう簡単にはいきません。ですから計画の第一段階として、我々はあなたを実験体に選びました。
But that won't be easy. That is why you were chosen as an experiment for the first step of our plan. I was chosen?
あなたは被害者の悲しみを知った。加害者の悪意を知った。次こそ、我々のもとへとたどり着いてください。
You've learned the sorrow of the victims and the malice of the assailants. Next, we want you to make your way to us. Wait, the caller didn't respond again no matter how many times I asked. I hadn't understood most of what the voice from the caller was saying, but I did know one thing. Adonis is likely plotting some kind of mass murder. There would be no one left to take revenge. This isn't the time to be kicking over stones from old crimes. Unless Adonis was stopped, the damage could spread outside of Shinjuku. I steeled my will and took out my phone. I need your advice. Sasazuka, can you conduct a more thorough scan of my collar than you did before? His reply was immediate. It won't be easy, and your life will be at risk, but it's possible. Then please do it. Wait, are you serious about this? Too dangerous. If they trace us, they're sure to counterattack. That's why we haven't touched it yet. I'm prepared for the consequences. I just spoke with the caller, and it said to make my way to them. Not another come at me if you think you can. How cocky are these guys? I think this is the only way left to get a lead on Adonis. Kai has joined the group. What's up, Yanagi? Suddenly, Okazaki's name appeared as a member of the group chat. Apparently, Yanagi had invited him. If he's cooperating with Yanagi's team, or is he cooperating with the team or something? I had told the team that he had found out about the caller. Hoshino wants to trace the caller. We can't. We've already considered it and decided the option's too risky. We do it only as a last resort. They made it clear they had been communicating. It showed that Yanagi's team definitely trusted Okazaki. As long as I had this caller, it leaked all of our plans to Adonis. It made sense to work with more people who knew about the situation. I couldn't believe that they had kept this from me as part of a plan. There's no point if you die. I frowned at the next message. Says the guy whose dream is to die protecting someone. They could have killed me at any time, but they haven't. If they want me to meet them, then I think we should give it a shot. It's time to use our last resort. Stupid cat has a point. But what if she dies? Oh god. Menio. I can do this. Right? There's still intel on Adonis's whereabouts. Don't panic. Takeru, did you narrow it down yet? The vague information isn't that useful. We're exceedingly short on time. Other sources? I frowned. I hadn't heard about that. The messages continued. Sanjo dropped a hint for us at Shinjuku Garden. My eyes widened. Okazaki's text felt like it was specifically addressing my doubts. He did? Okazaki was claiming that Sanjo had given us some kind of clue, but his actions when we faced off against him, come to think of it... I want to play with you. After that, he looked like he whispered something. Maybe he had assumed that Okazaki, an SP officer, could read lips. Sanjo's hint for us was an underground tunnel. I think that's their hideout. He didn't want the caller to hear it. What is Sanjo thinking? As new doubts surfaced, replacing the previous ones, another text came. Hoshino, for now, just come by the office once you get off work. Okay. I closed my phone inside. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't afraid of trying to scan my caller, but if more people end up victimized because I was too scared, Kazuki could be next, or even my coworkers or Yanagi's team, maybe even Okazaki. I don't want to see anyone else end up getting hurt in my place. I don't read flashbacks. I would protect Shinjuku. I would give whatever relief I could to the people who lived here in terror. Those goals hadn't changed, but something did change. My dearest wish. I want Okazaki to live. I really want to be with him forever. Ooh, that's too much. I wanted to be protected by his gentle smile and his warm hands. But if his protection meant losing him, then it was better not to see him again. Protecting me because he wants to die, I thought I could forgive or understand it. But I realized that I was always thinking about Okazaki. My break will be over soon. Muttering to myself, I remembered one more place I needed to go and ran over there. Is it my sex lit? No. You came here just to see me. How do I put this? You're one honest woman. Shirashi, you've been a big help to me. You prevented Sanjo's attack thanks to you. Thank you for your help.
今日はどうして
I just did it because I'm curious. What is it today? Huh? I just wanted to thank you.
そうじゃなくて前みたいな顔してるよ。
Not that. You're making a look I've seen before. Before?
ここにあらずって感じ。
When your heart was somewhere else. Ah, when Okazaki had discovered the collar, we drifted apart. I had been depressed because I thought I'd betrayed him. But now it's the opposite. This time I was running away from Okazaki. I didn't want to meet him. I didn't understand him. I was the one full of feelings and betrayal.
岡崎くん絡み
Might it be about Okazaki? How'd you know?
当たりか。
I got
だっ
it.
て
I
お
hit
と
the
と
wrong
いの
button.
昼頃まではへにゃーって緩んだ顔してたから
Well,
な。
until midday, the day before yesterday, you looked super relaxed. Did I look that
出
relaxed?
たよ。
Yeah,
岡
totally.
崎くんと話してるときは特に
Especially when you were talking to Okazaki.
変だと思ったんだよね。あの岡崎くんと深い仲になれるなんて。
I thought it was strange that anyone would get along with Okazaki that well. What do you mean?
彼性格悪いじゃない。
He has a pretty bad personality, doesn't he?
少年の悪さで言ったら俺といい勝負できると思うよ。
Funny because he's actually going to be the person I go after next because I don't like his personality. Anyway, I thought he was on par with me on terms of rubbing people the wrong way.
真面目で常識的な君がハンドルを握れるようなタイプじゃない。
He isn't the type someone like you who's diligent and sensible can get a read on. Okazaki has a bad personality?
まあ、彼との関係が決裂しちゃったならさ、俺に乗りたいな。
I will be soon. You did cut ties with him. Why don't you trade me for him?
昨日の感じじゃ、君も結構使えそうだし、君の首輪には興味あるし。
You've been pretty useful since yesterday. I'm curious about the collar too. Right. Maybe I could get something out of Shirashi since he is so unreserved right now. He wasn't interested in me personally. He wanted to use me. I could work with that angle. No. From the start, Okazaki said he'd protect me for his own goal. I knew that too. We'd been together because of our interest aligned. I stopped thinking about that because of the personal feelings. That kind of makes me feel like I'm doing Okazaki a
ダメだよ、
disservice.
白石さん。
No, Shirashi.
おやおや
Well, well.
俺の許可なく彼女をいじめたらダメだって言ったでしょ
Didn't I tell you that you couldn't mock Lee without my permission? Okazaki, where did you come from? Huh?
普通に扉から入ってきたよ。
Through the door like a normal person. Don't sneak up on
だ
people.
って何か話してるから邪魔しちゃ悪いかなと思
Well,
って。
you were talking about something, so I didn't want to interrupt you.
結局邪魔してるけどね。俺彼女と大事な
And
話を
yet
して
you
たんだよ
did. We were
な
having an important
そうな
conversation.
の
You were. Yeah.
俺いたら邪魔かな
Am I being a nuisance? I won't be tricked by those puppy dog's eyes anymore.
邪魔者だね。それにさっき俺が彼女をいじめてるとか言ってたけどさ。
Yep, you're being a total nuisance anyway. You were getting on to me for supposedly
いじ
mocking
めて
her.
るのは岡崎くんの方なんじゃないの彼女さっきから顔が引きつってる。君を拒絶してる表情だ。
But aren't you the one making a mockery of her? Her face has been tense ever since you came in. She doesn't want you here. Shirishi, what are
深
you?
い理由は知らないけど、俺の観察眼だとね、多分岡崎くんが悪い。
I don't know the reason, but I've got a keen eye. It's probably your fault, Okazaki.
なんだか白石さんだけには言われたくなかったな。
For some reason, you're the only person I didn't want to hear that
まあ
from.
でも俺が悪いよね。
Well, it's my fault. I know that.
だから
That's why. Don't apologize to me. Eh? I'll just be frustrated if you
どうし
do.
て
Why? Because you'll apologize but not change your mind, right? I knew he wouldn't deny it. I just knew it. This man was exceedingly stubborn. No matter what word I use to persuade you, I know that you'll never change on the inside. Just realized I don't know where my mouse is. Ah, right there. I've only known you for a short time, but I've at least learned that much. So please just give up on me. And with that, I turned and left. I'd have to apologize to Shirashi later.
また振られちゃった。
I got dumped again.
あの彼女があそこまで怒るって相当
You
だ
have
ね。
made her quite angry.
白石さんもそう思う？
You think so
意
too?
外だよね。
How unexpected.
俺が言うのもなんだけど、そう言い切っちゃうのどうかと思うよ。
This might not mean much coming from me, but I'm surprised you can say that.
彼女をバカにしてるってことでしょ。気持ちはわからなくもないけどさ。そういうの透けて見えてたんじゃない？
You're making a fool of her. I can relate, believe me, but isn't it incredibly obvious to you?
バカになんてしてないよ。むしろ俺は彼女だからこそ選んだのに。
I'm not making fun of her. In fact, I chose her because of who she
彼女は
is.
時々俺でも読めない行動に出るタイプだけどさ。
She's the type of person who sometimes acts in a manner that even I
お
can't
せっ
read.
かいでお人よしで。多分自分のためにはそこまで怒らない。
A meddling and soft-hearted soul. I doubt she ever gets that mad for her own sake. Yeah.
だからこういうケースの場合、
So in cases like these,
白石さん？
Shirashi?
やめた。
Forget
俺
it.
がヒントをあげちゃったら面白くない。君に協力してあげる義理もないし。
This would be no fun if I give you a hint. There's no reason for me to help you.
へえ、白石さんも優しいところあるんだなって感
And
動
here I
しか
was
けたの
thinking
に。
even you had a soft side.
俺に優しさなんてないよ。まあ、君がどうして彼女にこだわるか知らないけどさ。
That's your own fault. I don't have kindness. I don't know why it is you are so fixated on her, though.
もうちょっと彼女の気持ちになって考えてあげたら。
Why don't you try considering her feelings a bit more?
白石さんらしくないセリフ。
Didn't expect to hear that from you.
うん、俺もそう思った。
Yeah,
俺
I
だったら
agree.
面倒だからやらないけどね。
If I were you, I wouldn't bother.
でも、楽しそうだからって理由でも、俺のためにアドバイスくれたんだよね。
You still gave me advice, even if it was for your own entertainment.
ありがとう、白石
Thanks,
さん。
Shirashi.
頑張ってみるよ。
I'll give it a shot.
能天気というかなんというか。
I don't know if he's just
こ
an
の
airhead.
時世で恋だの愛だの深刻になれるんだからどっちもどっちか。そういう意味ではお似合いなのかな。
In these times, both love and passion can become quite intense, insipid though they are. In that sense, perhaps they make a good match.
まあいいや。さて、俺は俺の仕事に戻る
Well,
としよう。
whatever. Back to work. December 24th, 8:07 p.m. In the end, I finished my work for the day while my head was in another place. I have to get it together. I mentally scolded myself and headed to Yanagi's office. This was no time to be out of sorts because of Okazaki. To get closer to Adonis, we'd examine the collar. I'd had readied myself for that. I should forget about Okazaki and concentrate on the problem that lies in front of me now. Yet immediately after that vow, the source of my problems was standing in front of me. What exactly do you think you're doing here,
こん
Okazaki?
にちは。さっきぶりだね。
Hello, it's been a while. So clingy. Yanagi, does Okazaki have to be here?
何があったんだ？岡崎はもう首輪のことも知っているし、隠す必要はないと思うが。
What happened? Okazaki already knows about the collar, so I don't think we need to hide anything from him. This request is for personal
めん
reasons.
どくせえな。だったら岡崎のやつを放り
How
出せ。
annoying. Just kick him out then.
つうか喧嘩でもしたのか。ちょっと前までほのぼのしてたくせに。
Did you two get into a fight? You were super close until recently.
うん。
Yeah, I made
俺
her
が彼
mad.
女。
じゃあ、お前が悪いな。
So it's your fault then.
多分お前が悪い。
Yeah, probably your fault.
岡崎が有罪。帰れ。
You're guilty. Get out of here.
まだ何も言ってないんだけど、それってちょっとひどくない？
I didn't even say anything yet. Aren't you being too harsh?
星野を怒らせるようなことをしたんだろう。だったら、お前に原因がある。
You did something bad enough to make Hoshino mad. It's definitely your own fault.
吉成君も白石さんもみんなも同じようなことばっかり。
Come on, Yoshinari and Shirashi both told me the same
俺
thing.
が悪いことはちゃんと分かってるの。
I
だから
know that I was
謝ろ
wrong,
う
but I
として
keep
るのに。
trying to apologize. I don't want an apology. Sorry, but we're discussing the investigation, so please leave.
ほらこれだもん。
See?
お前何したんだ？
What did you
こい
do?
つがここまで怒るってすげえことしたんじゃね？
Must have been pretty crazy to get her this mad
強
at
引
you.
なく襲ったんじゃねえの。
You assaulted her, didn't you? What?
岡崎、まさか。
Okazaki didn't.
え、それほんまもんの事故。
That'd be incredibly messed up. They're just saying whatever they want. Before they had tried to chase Okazaki off whenever he came to the office. Now they weren't trying very hard to make him leave, maybe because they were working together. To be honest, they watched this unfold was difficult.
君さ、ちょっと頑固すぎない？
Aren't you being too stubborn? What?
あんなに怒ると思ってなかったから、傷つけたなら本当にごめんね。
I didn't think you would be this angry about this, and if I hurt you, I really am sorry.
俺たちは約束したんだし、そこまで逃げなくてもいいじゃない。
But we promised each other. You don't have to keep running, do you? You're the one who's being
今回の件
stubborn.
に関しては、
No,
君の
this
方
time it's you.
おいおい、落ち着けって。仕方ねえな。ここはエナとミネオ
Ow,
様
ow,
が
ow, ow, ow.
かの有名な大岡裁きを見せてやるから。
Seems like I have no choice. Allow his honor, Minio Inomoto, to exercise his famed jurisprudence.
ミネオ君は黙ってて。
Shut up. Inomoto, be quiet.
はい。
Sorry. Anyways, let me be clear, Okazaki. I don't need you to protect me, and more to the point, you don't actually need me specifically, do you? There are plenty of important people who need protecting and no shortage of people in danger. Instead of continuing this argument with me, it'd be faster for you to protect someone else. My heart was breaking from the pain. I didn't want to go on this far. Okazaki looked shocked. Soon he dropped his gaze and...
確かに。
You're right. He nodded in agreement. He agreed! I was terribly heartbroken, but still I felt like I was being made a fool. See? I'm right, aren't I? It doesn't have to be me at all. So just give up already.
ちょっと待って。確かに君じゃなくてもいいはずなんだけど。
Wait, you're right. It doesn't have to be you, but if you understand and don't make me say it, it hurts.
待ってってば。でも俺は嫌なんだ。君がいい。
Oh my god. It doesn't have to be you, but I want that. I want you.
自分でもよくわからないけど、他の誰かじゃなくて、君がいい。
I don't understand it myself, but I don't want to protect just anyone. I want you. Because I'm convenient, right? His mission had been so observe Yanagi's... Wait. I changed a letter, sorry. His mission had been to observe Yanagi's team, and I sometimes visited their office. There was no other reason to insist on me. But if you can protect me, then I wouldn't need to come here anymore in that case. There's no point in you trying to protect me.
違うよ。
No, I...
一生懸命で。まっすぐ
You
で。
try your
優
hardest.
しくて。
You're open
誰
and
かの
kind.
傷を自分のことのように考えられて。
You feel others'
逃げないで頑張
wounds
って。諦めない君が。
as if they're your own. You work hard and never run. You don't give up.
君が好きなんだ。
That's why I like you. Gasp! He said with the most basic looking expression on his face. Oh my goodness. I'm leaning too far back in my chair. I'm too...
おっと。
Ooh, a public confession.
あれ
Yeah, I like you.
そして本人、今ここで気づいた。
And he just realized it.
だから他の誰かに任せるの嫌なんだ。君が好きだから
So I don't want anyone else to
Mamorita.
take care of you. I want to protect you because I like you.
傷つけたくないし 悲しい顔をさせたくない。支えたいし、背中を押してあげたい。
I don't want to make you sad or see you hurt. I want to support and encourage
そう思うの
you.
は君だからだよ。
I feel that way because of you. So going on the assumption that you like me.
あと、相手の心にはあまり響いてない様子だぞ。
Whoa, looks like his move wasn't very effective. What's next? Are you really saying this?
それは、その、
well.
何言ったんだ。岡崎は一体どんなこと言っちゃったんだよ。気になって寝れねえ。
What did Okazaki say? I can't sleep if I don't know.
マジでうるせえ。
Oh my god, shut up. Take your damn lover's quarrel outside. I'm sorry.
バカ猫、メールで言ってたけん、やる覚悟言ってんじゃねえのか。
Hey, stupid cat, did you come here intended to do what you mentioned earlier? Yes, I did.
無理だな。
It won't work. Huh? Why? I said I was
他の
ready.
ことで頭いっぱいですって顔して、どの口で覚悟とか言ってんだよ。
Well, your head's obviously full of other things, so how can you possibly be ready?
命かかってる自覚あんの？岡崎を軽くあしらえない時点で無理。頭冷やして出直してこい。
You're trying to say you're prepared for this, not while you're playing lovey-dovey with Okazaki. Go get things sorted out and come back later.
笹塚の言うとりだな。
Sasuka. That's how you say it. Oh my god. Sasuka. That's right. Yanagi.
少し岡崎と二人で話してこい。
Go talk to Okazaki in private. Some things really need to be aired
今
out.
のお前たちはどうやら歯車が噛み合っていないようだからな。
Right now, you two can't seem to figure out how to see eye to eye.
感情的にならずに話してみろ。
Try shelving the emotions and see where it goes. All right?
ずるいな、柳さん。いいとこ持ってかれちゃった。
That means Yanagi, you interrupted at a good part. Does this guy even realize that he's entirely the problem? Oh, goodness. Leaving the office, Okazaki and I sat down on a bench in a nearby park. Right. We spoke in this park when we first met. Back when we knew nothing about each other. He had fallen asleep on my shoulder. I don't need that
俺は
flashback.
ね、
It's fine, I remember. I had been happy when he said it that way. I wanted to be honest with him if possible. Later, when our relationship had soured after he learned about my collar, we had spoken like this again. I
警察
don't
っていう
need
そっても
these past. That's fine. That
さあ、
stuff. The warmth I'd felt when then was nostalgic, but now it made my chest ache. Back then, I was afraid to arouse suspicion or draw Okazaki's ear. I had been happy when he told me I was important. Yeah, I'm lonely. I should use Okazaki to achieve my goals, as he said. I'd been doing so, even if I wasn't aware of it. I stopped being able to do it when internally he had become much more significant to me as a person.
前にもこんな風に話をしたね。
In the past, we had a conversation here. Perhaps while reminiscing about the same memories, Okazaki broke the
この頃
silence.
は正直に言うと、
Back then, I don't think I saw you as a person.
俺の願いを叶えてくれる理想の
You were
人、
the ideal vehicle to grant my wish. You would be the person who would let
勝手
me
に決め
die.
つけてた。
I decided that on my
君が
own.
言った通り、
I
都合
was
が良かったんだ。
Convenient, like you said.
君の気持ちな
I
んて
didn't spare a single thought for your feelings. I knew it. It hurt to hear it said directly, but somehow things felt lighter. He had been looking at me. I knew that for certain now. But now, after some hesitation, Okazaki looked me straight in the
君の
eyes.
ことも考えたい。
I want to
君の
think
気持
about
ちを
you.
ちゃんと知りたいし、
I want to understand your
これからも
feelings.
一緒にいられる方法を
And
探したい。
I want to find a way for us to be together.
他
Okazaki,
の誰かじゃ嫌なんだ。その気持ちは
I don't want to be with
分かってくれる？
anyone else. Do you understand? Boy, you didn't even want to be alive yesterday. Do you not understand? Then are you going to give up getting your wish?
うーん、そんな簡単には諦められないかな。君だってそうでしょ？
Goodness. No, I can't give up that easily, but neither can you, right? Maybe he'd finally understood, but the fleeting hope soon turned to ash.
俺の願いと君の願い、どっちも叶えられる方法を探せないかなって。
So let's find a way to make both of our wishes a
柳さんも
reality.
言ってたよね。お互いに妥協点が見つかれば、うまく歯車が噛み合うかもしれないし。
Yanagi said that we should do what we should do, didn't he? If we can find common ground, then we'll see eye to eye again. He is so damn stubborn. It doesn't apply here. After all, our wishes are opposites. My child is singing in his room. I thought he was crying. Okazaki wanted to die protecting me. I wanted him to live without protecting me. Those goals couldn't both be achieved. But he looked like he wasn't given in. Okazaki said they were thinking for a reason. For a while, there was silence. There you are, Okazaki. Suddenly, a terribly cheerful voice rang out. I looked up and saw it was exactly who I'd expected. So you were here. I was looking for you. Yoshinari appeared in fine spirits and carrying a package in each hand. I'm sorry to interrupt. You should have told me you'd be made up already. We're right in the middle of that right now. Wait, really? Did I just step in it big time? No, that's okay. What are those, Yoshinari? Honestly, it didn't look like we would be getting anywhere, so him showing up helped relieve the tension. This wasn't the time to be escaping reality, but I changed the subject to Yoshinari.
よくぞ聞いてくれました。これぞ吉成プレゼンツ仲直りグッズです。
I'm glad you asked. These are Yoshinari's famous makeup gifts. Makeup gifts?
お二人とも今日が何の日か忘れてません？クリスマスですよ、クリスマス。
Have you two forgotten what time it is? Christmas! It's almost time! It's almost here! Christmas!
すれ違ったところも聖夜の魔法で溶けるんです。
The holy night magic will mend shattered hearts. Yes, like fleeting snow. Yoshinari, you're seriously in the way, so leave.
ひどっ。これ渡したら帰りますよ。せっかく先輩のために用意したんですから。
That's cold! I'll leave once I give these to you. I got them just for you. Yoshinari suddenly thrusted two large bags in our hands. Inside were... Is this a cake? Fried chicken? And champagne? Crackers and Santa hats?
そう、クリスマスセットです。こんな寒いとこで深刻な顔してないで。これで気分盛り上げて仲直りしてください。
It's a Christmas gift set. Turn those frowns upside down and let's all be friends once again. Fantastic obliviousness aside, he seemed to be showing concern in his own way. I appreciate the sentiment, but we aren't really in the mood, especially Okazaki. Maybe you're right, Yoshinari. It's cold out here. Why don't we move? Are you hungry? I am. Should we go back to the office? How about my place? Eh? Why? Your little brother's at home, so doesn't that make my place the obvious choice?
いきなり自宅訪問。俺の愛が伝わった。
A sudden home invitation. My love got across. Now wait a minute.
じゃあ行こうか。ほら、手、冷たくなってる。
It's settled then. Give me your hand. It's cold. Completely ignoring both Yoshinari's impressed reaction and my reluctance, Okazaki grabbed my hand. I firmly swatted his hand aside. Huh? Sorry, I understand. Let's go.
吉成くん、ありがとね。
Okay. Yoshinari, thanks.
いえいえ、なんか前途多難そうですけど、 ファイトっすよ。
Looks like you have your work cut out for you. Good luck. I'm sorry for making you worry, Yoshinari. I'll give you a proper apology
俺
later.
も後でお礼するよ。空手の訓練付き合ってあげる。
I'll have to thank you too. You can join me for some karate training. I started to say karaoke.
それはいりません。そんな俺マジでいりませんから。
No, thank you. I really don't need that kind of gratitude. Ignoring Yoshinari's refusal, Okazaki swiftly walked away. All right, I'm going to pause here because this is long and I have plans. But anywhoosies, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a lovely day. If you're watching this on Twitch, I do post my older videos on YouTube. But if you're watching on this YouTube, you can see my newer stuff on Twitch. Have a lovely day.